today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSaga.com presents WAWR Week Radio Chats with boxing scribe Joseph Heron.
Welcome. Happy Thursday to everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We're almost at Friday, so hallelujah. But guys, tonight on this episode of WAWR Week Radio Chats, I'm being joined by my brother, Frank by the Bay. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
I tell you what, man, this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. And once again, this has been a very tumultuous week for all of us with all of the news that we've just, learned. Like think about this, Frank. Last Thursday, we got the bomb dropped on us while we were on the air by our good friend, Young Bill, saying that, Terrence Crawford, he's chosen a dance partner, and it's not Errol Spence Jr., that it's going to be David Avanesian. And once again, he's a very good fighter and a legitimate contender, but he's not Errol Spence Jr. So you've had an entire week to digest all of this, Frank. What are your thoughts, brother?
My thoughts. Well, I've seen it all, heard it all. I mean, people are doing their deep dives, investigations, and is this real?
Oh goodness.
I mean, it's become a civil war out here. People are going at each other's throats, making threats. For me, it's part of the course. It's boxing. Like you say, this is our beloved boxing. So you kind of just have to love it. You know, you love it for everything that it is and isn't. But for me personally, I don't see how anybody could see this as not as a disappointment.
Yeah, you know what? There are so many great matchups that you can make in the talent-enriched 147-pound division. But guys, this was the one. This was the big one. Guys, at this time, I'd like to welcome my dear friend, Tony Manzano, to the show. Tony, how are you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, it's been a while. I've been dealing with a horrible chest cold the past few days.
Oh no. Well, hey man, our prayers go out to you, brother. I hope you feel better and shake this thing.
No, I'm actually feeling better now. Hey Joe, I have a question. I've said, me and you talked about this multiple times about Terrence and Bud,
Yep.
Bud and Earl.
Yep.
Do you think it actually hurts Bud in a sense, not his ego, but the fact that he's an independent contractor in the sport and not having his own promoter?
Well, look, don't take it from look, I've said this the whole time, even before the negotiation started. I pointed to you guys and I said this was going to be a problem. And if you go back to my shows, even late last year, I said this was going to be a big problem. One, you're getting a guy who has an inflated sense of market value. Okay, he believes, because he's a product of inflated purses from Top Rank, the promoter who supposedly mistreated him, right? Okay, well, based on his $6 million guaranteed purse from fighting Sean Porter, and once again, not to discount Sean Porter, but a non-ticket seller, a guy who is a mere WBO former champion, former two-time welterweight champion, but he was at that time a mere mandatory defense, right? And so he's making $6 million guaranteed from that to face a guy who's, for all the marbles, for the undisputed welterweight crown, historically the second most lucrative division in all of boxing behind the heavyweights. Yeah, of course, he thought he was worth, and he'd be able to demand $20 to $22 million. And that's another thing that I'm going to bring up a little bit later. But yeah, that's the problem. And I said, look, unless he's surrounding himself with guys who are knowledgeable, who can actually advise him appropriately, this is going to be a real problem. And unfortunately, that just didn't happen. And Bob Arum said as much, and he said this week. He said, look, in my opinion, I knew this was going to be a problem. Terrence Crawford needed a promoter to help him make this deal happen. And he's absolutely right. It's what I've been saying for about a year now.
I've seen the same interview.
Yeah, this is a problem. And once again, guys, it's Terrence. This is like going to criminal court trying to represent yourself. Okay, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, and also the actual fight I want to see again. I'm not sure if it's ever going to happen after the first two fights that happened. Since he became a mandatory, I want to see Bronco Lara versus Josh Warrington again. To be honest, so Bronco can get those titles back and then fight against Navarrete at 126 for undisputed and stuff like that. Do you think that's ever going to happen, or because they're in the same training camp, Joe, you don't think that fight's going to happen?
No, dude. Hold on, man. Guys, as you were, can you talk about this amongst yourself? I'm having to transition back inside because I was out in my patio, and then uncharacteristically, it's now pouring in San Antonio, Texas, a barren wasteland, right? That's always drier than a bone. And now it chose tonight when I go live to start pouring down. So guys, talk amongst yourself while I transition this, right? So Frank, as you were, brother, please, your thoughts on all of this nonsense.
Well, I just addressed Tony first. Yeah, the Navarrete Valdez just got announced. So, and I believe that's at 130. So I don't think Lara's going to get that opportunity.
I'm saying the Warrington versus. Do you think after the first two fights, do you think his promoters and his handlers and trainers are going to even allow him to fight against Bronco Lara again for the unified title? The unified title that he has.
No, it doesn't look that way. I think everybody right now will look in a different direction from Lara. I don't think that's a guy right now that anybody wants to face unless you have to. He's kind of just gonna have to wait around for.
Even Navarrete.
Well, he has a big fight with. He has a big fight with Valdez coming up, so I mean that probably won't happen.
No, I'm saying before the fight. Let's say the Valdez fight wasn't happening. Do you think even? You say even
you're kind of breaking up, bro. I think those guys will fight. Yeah, I think those type of guys will fight anybody, but it's hard to say. I mean, I don't like really getting in a guy's head. I mean, all I can do is look at the landscape and what direction people are going. So, Navarrete has his hands full, so that's really the only focus. Lara, hopefully he gets a good fight, with the name that wants to take him on, because he's not really a name yet. I mean, hardcores know him, but he's not like a Barrera or Morales right now. So, I mean, we'll see. That's we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and this whole situation with Crawford is ridiculous, dude. This whole this is what happens when you're independent contractors too, as a fighter, and you don't have a real promoter. You're trying to promote yourself, and you
but
tend
also
not to know how to negotiate correctly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like what Joseph said. I mean, he's used to getting a certain amount, and people probably told him that this was the biggest fight in boxing. So when you hear that, and if you have the egos that these guys have, they want every dollar. they're not in the business of shortchanging themselves. So, if you go in and someone tells you, no, we're not going to give you that.
Canelo's the only one.
And I guess Sean Porter had said on one of his podcasts.
The issue with that.
You're breaking up. But Sean Porter says,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you're still kind of choppy. That
what I'm saying is,
Tony, hold on, Tony, you're sounding real choppy. So I'm going to ask you, man. I'm going to remove you if you could actually log back in, brother. Okay?
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. I tell you what, guys, and once again, Don Chargan had a name for this. I didn't really like the name at the time because I didn't really understand the business of boxing like I do now, right? But he said, look, when it's very easy to create a disgruntled and delusional fighter when a fighter surrounds himself with what he characterized as urban advisors. Okay. And I didn't understand that until I told Emmanuel this. Okay. The late great Emmanuel Stewart. Once again, we just celebrated or mourned the passing. It's been 10 years since his passing, right? And I told Emmanuel this, and he's like, look, let me tell you a story, Joseph. He said, for the final Riddick-Bowe fight, I actually trained Evander for this fight. We had an agreement. And yeah, I actually trained him to beat Riddick-Bowe, right? In the final fight of that trilogy. And at the end of the fight, he gave me a check, and it was less than what we had agreed upon. And I said, hey, what's this all about? And Evander didn't even want to talk to him. Okay. Instead, one of his quote unquote urban advisors came up to him and said, look, Emmanuel, I respect what you do, but anyone can hold a towel for the champ.
Damn.
And Emmanuel said, you know what? Let me just get my check and get the fuck out of here. Because it's obvious you guys have no idea what you're doing. And guys, unfortunately, Terrence Crawford has surrounded himself with a bunch of like-minded guys, minions. Mm-hmm, that's it. Mm-hmm. Why else would you go into a negotiation and with two attorneys who have never negotiated a deal of this nature? Right? Never. They know nothing about the business of boxing. Okay, like these two guys could be injury attorneys for all we know. Right? These are the same guys who are suing Bob Arum and Top Rank in that frivolous lawsuit. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's like you said.
They're trying to negotiate a huge fight deal when they have no experience in this business. And according to the Errol Spence phone conversation that we just heard, and I'm assuming that this has taken place like several months ago because it's not up to date, right? This is probably recorded several months ago. He's saying that, yeah, man, it was weird. He was jumping the chain of command and he wanted to talk to Al Heyman. He didn't even trust his own representation or his own attorneys. This is a guy who has no experience putting together a deal of this nature. Right? Yet the fault, if you believe these idiots who have never worked a day in the boxing business. If you listen to them, it's all Al Heyman's fault, right?
Yeah, that's what.
And it's funny. Look, I'll tell you firsthand, and they took great exception when I said, look, and I've been consistent with this, and this is what I was told from two guys who are interested third-party members who just wanted to see this damn fight happen. They don't have a dog in the hunt. They were almost like arbitrators in this situation. And there was showtime. Okay? And they told me that, yeah, Terrence Crawford had this absurd amount that he wanted guaranteed going into this of $22 million when we started negotiations. And this was back in late May, early June. Right? And I stated this on James's channel, The Boxing Source. And apparently it was on Twitter and everyone was bouncing it around. And a couple of people, because it defied their Heyman PBC hating narrative, right? They took exception to it and they said, "Oh, this is not a reliable source. They have no way of verifying this." I'm like, well, that's because you guys have no idea. You don't have a working relationship with anyone in this business. That's why you can't verify it. Hey, I guarantee you. Hey, ask Stephen Espinoza if this is inaccurate. Ask Chris de Blasio if this is inaccurate. Ask Terrence Crawford if this is, you can't verify it that way? Okay, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I've seen that also. And, you know, my reasoning mind doesn't think that that's out of Crawford's character. It sounds like something somebody would do. Why wouldn't he go in and ask that much?
Look, Frank, and this is the reason why I take exception to this. Okay? I already know this shit. This is for everyone else's benefit, right? Just so that they understand what was really going on here. Okay? I already know this shit. I'm telling you guys this for your own benefit. So you guys understand what was really happening here. So you guys have a greater understanding of the big picture. Hey, man, don't kill the messenger. Don't get mad at me because it doesn't fit your damn narrative. Well, okay, if you want to throw daggers at Al Heyman, okay, this is a guy who has never taken 5 months to put together. This is a guy who helped put together Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you mean to tell me he's the reason why this deal fell apart? Wake up and smell the bullshit that you're shoveling. That's all I have to say. Look, Frank, before we move forward, let's give a shout out. And once again, I apologize the delay for the having to make accommodations for the rain, right? The unexpected rainstorm that
Mother
now
Nature
is pouring down, right? Yeah, Mother Nature trying to put a damper, as if Crawford Spence wasn't enough, but put a damper on this show. So give a shout out to our brother Peter Von Arx. Good evening to you, my friend. Thank you for always supporting War Week Radio, man. Peter, and once again, virtuoso guitar player, brilliant musician. God bless you, brother. You keep doing what you do, man, because it's a gift. Also, want to give a shout out to my brother Cool Money. Thank you for joining us, sir. Hold on. Cool Buddy says, leaked phone call looks bad for everyone involved, in my opinion. And once again, you have to understand, just listening to this, and it's been pinging all over YouTube. This was probably extracted, from what I know, this was probably extracted several months ago. Okay? That's what it sounds like. Want to give a shout out to our brother Larry. Listen, always knowledgeable. I love your line of questioning, Larry, and all of your input to the show. So thank you for being here, my friend. Also, my brother who is just on here, Anthony Manzano. Thank you for joining us, sir. Also, my brother Pounds Boxeo. Salute to you, brother. Thank you so much. Also, my brother Sean. Evening to you, my friend. I dropped the link in case you want to join us tonight, Sean. Always very insightful. Always have a lot of good input. Also, my brother Izzy DeVoe. Good evening, Mr. Heron and War Week Radio family. Nice to hear Frank's perspective. Keep up the stellar work. It's appreciated, gentlemen.
Oh,
thank you for saying that. And you know what? Frank is very, very insightful and has a lot of years in this business.
Thank you, Joe. I try. But it's good having a mentor of sorts. Like I consider you like someone that would be a boxing mentor. You like if you really want to learn about boxing, Joe is somebody you have to humble. I mean, I'm not trying to make you like a god, but like sometimes you have to humble yourself to learn new things.
Look, guys. And when I first got in this business, let me just give you a little insight. When I first got in this business, I thought I was hot shit, man. Okay, I thought I was a boxing expert, and I was just a writer, right? But look, the reason why I thought I was a boxing expert is because compared to my next door neighbors, compared to people on chat rooms, yeah, I was the smartest head in the room, right? But until I actually became a working member of this business, I didn't realize how little I did know. I didn't know shit from Shinola, dude. And I found out very quickly how little I knew. And it wasn't until I actually humbled myself and worked with great men like Don Chargan, like Emmanuel Stewart, like Ronnie Shields, like James Gogi, like Abel Sanchez, Joe Goosen, right? That's how I got my education in this business. Okay.
And Joe, just to as you were saying that, I thought of something.
Go ahead, sir.
And just for the chat and you and people who watch the, because they do support the show, so we always appreciate them. But just how when someone who knows boxing and someone who doesn't, and Joe can talk a lot, right? You know that, Joe. But if you ever notice, no, but this is how I know you're a genuine, legit dude, and how I deciphered among the YouTube, boxing community. A lot of these guys won't let you talk. I understand it's their show, but one thing you'll notice when he has Coach Gogi on, Joe listens. See, that's how you know someone can learn, like they're willing to open their mind. So that's why what really gave me, a lot of respect and knew you were legit as far as the community goes is because, like, you allow Coach Gogi, he has a lot of experience to talk, and we learn a lot. You don't, try to tell him stuff. So, that showed me a lot.
Well, thank you for saying that, Frank. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, man. But I will tell you this. If I have a guest on the show, right, like James Gogi, who's been in this business for 5 decades, Ronnie Shields, who's been in this business for 5 decades, even Rick Glazier, who's been in this business for 3 decades, right? They're very dear friends of mine, and it defeats the purpose of having a guest if you merely want to impose your opinion upon them. What's the point of having a guest, right?
Right.
Okay, so, and once again, we have, and I will say this, when it comes to Ronnie, James, as well as Rick, I learned something new every single time they're on the show.
Same here.
So I hope you guys have that same experience. But guys, in the queue right now, it's my pleasure to introduce at this time my dear friend Hyphy. How you doing, my brother? Whoa, that was terrible. Hyphy, please go get that straightened out, my brother. Go out and come back in, because that was, wow, that was, and I'm not exaggerating, that was static. But guys, let's keep on going down the line. Let's say our greetings to our very dear friend John McSmith. Thank you for supporting War Week Radio, sir. We always value your input on this show. Always. Salute, Big Joe. And with the musical instruments, thank you. Or the musical notes, thank you, my brother. Also, my brother Larry, listen, he says Al Heyman has a magical way to ruin every big fight. It's funny though. Yeah, he was a part of Mayweather Pacquiao. Didn't seem to ruin that event.
Yeah, I know.
Look.
It's popular.
That's a popular sentiment, and people just like to throw that around like a football, right? But look, the fact of the matter is every promoter prefers to keep everything in-house. Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, they're all the same way. They prefer to keep everything in-house. And I know technically Al Heyman isn't a promoter in name only, but yes, he is. Okay, he works with other promoters in name only, but he's the organizer of the event, okay? He works with Tom Brown. That's his promoter of choice. But Tom Brown, predominantly, he's the matchmaker of these events. And he's very good at what he does. But Al Heyman is the organizer of all of these events. But we'll touch on Al Heyman being the advisor role, and we'll see how that applies to Adrian Broner and his new deal with BLK Prime. Okay, because everyone seems to think, Al Heyman's finished. This is Juneteenth for all PBC fighters. Guys, shut the hell up, man. You sound like a big bunch of idiots. But look, it's my pleasure to welcome our dear friend Sean to the show. Sean, how you doing, brother?
Evening, guys. How are
Big
you?
up. Great.
We're doing much better now that you're here, brother. And let's just hope that this Thursday night episode, well, isn't as gloom and doom as last Thursday.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that was quite upsetting, Joe. I didn't sleep.
I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, I had nightmares that night as well, brother.
It's all good though.
Jeez.
Truth is the truth, no matter how you want it.
Yeah. Look. And John McSmith says, Joe, you've been saying for years this fight was happening. Yes, because I'm just telling you what I was told twice. I was told by anyway, you know who my guys are, right? And they're interested third party members, almost arbitrators for this deal. And they told me twice that both fighters had agreed to terms, right? Only to find out that a week and a half later, that one fighter specifically, Terrence Crawford, had taken exception to the contract. I mean, as it stands, before this fight was announced, okay, he red penned all of these stipulations in the existing contract, sent it back to PBC. They did their part and tried to accommodate Terrence Crawford, only to find out that he had made a deal with David Avanesian and Queensberry instead, right? And this blindsided everybody. No one, unless you were directly involved with this deal, you didn't see this coming. Okay? That's everyone, including the guys at Showtime, including PBC and Heyman. No one saw this coming. So I'm just reporting, John. I'm telling you everything I know about the business. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Pounds Boxeo. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah, but nothing you said was wrong, Joe, because even Dan Raphael reported it like the day before about the
that was the targeted date. And once again, we had actually projected that date back on, I think, 2 weeks before he reported it. I was told that was the projected date, February 4th in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that for the naysayers that are saying you wrong. I mean,
come on, man.
You still have to look at other people have said it are saying what you said 2 weeks later, and about the Ryan Tank. You had said that, you had told us that as well. Now they're just saying it on your Twitter timeline. So, people pick and choose, but I heard it here first, and you weren't wrong.
No, that was the targeted date, guys. But guys, there's also a huge rumor floating around about Tank versus Garcia.
And
we'll touch on that a little bit later. We'll touch on that a little bit later.
The roller coaster that is.
Oh my word, guys! welcome to the wonderful business of boxing, guys. I want to give a shout out to my brother G Funky. Greetings to you, my friend. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to his channel. He's a great dude and very knowledgeable. I want to give a shout out to Dex. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. Let me tell you. Also want to give a shout out to my brother, Big Luke. Thank you for joining us from upstate New York, my friend. God bless you, brother. Hold on. He says, and I thought Eastside taught you everything you know. Of course, the old Eastside boxing. I missed that stomping ground. Right. I also want to give a shout out to my brother, Wayne Hennessy. Thank you for joining us, man. You need to frequent this channel more often, dude. We miss you over here, brother.
No, he's an Arsenal fan.
Wayne Hennessy.
He's an Arsenal fan. It's no good.
Oh no! Well, I tell you what. I also want to give a shout out to my brother Jesus M. Saludos to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us, sir. But look, Sean, you've had an entire week to digest all of this, and we have yet to hear your thoughts on all of this that has transpired. What do you take away from everything that you've gathered? And guys, we're going to go all in on. See, now once again, I take great pride in just providing a platform for my brothers, James Gogi, Rick Glazier, Ronnie Shields, and allowing them to cook. And I just ask them questions.
Yep.
But I love these shows because I finally get to actually disclose how I feel. So, Sean, this is your opportunity. Please let it go, brother. Whatever diatribe you have, brother, just let it fly.
I feel I'm a fan of Bud when he's in the ring, but his actions recently have put me off slightly. To be fair, if you were looking for a tune-up, then you say you're getting a tune-up, and you put it in before any of the negotiations. You don't leave it to the last minute. And the fact that Errol Spence now looks like he's being mandated for either Keith Thurman, which is the number one WBC rules over the other two, or Stanionis and Boots, and Bud, which people have as the recognised pound for pound number one apparently, is fighting David Avanesian. I feel like this has been in the works for a long time because it occurred to me the other day when you were talking with Coach Ronnie Shields and YB that Avanesian was in negotiations with Ortiz and they offered him absolutely everything he asked for and he still turned it down.
Yep.
And then I thought to myself, Adrian Broner. He had his fight lined up. He had the fight night.
And
he started talking. He started talking bad about Showtime. He backed out, and then in the space of a blink of an eye, Crawford in 48 hours has signed a contract with Avanesian, and Adrian Broner's joined him at BLK Prime. So I don't believe in coincidences with things like that. I believe they've been doing it the whole entire time. And I also believe strategically, knowing that they were dragging this out, with, if you remember, that Crawford asked for super status.
Yep.
Meaning he wouldn't have a mandatory for 18 months.
Yep.
So he asked for super status, granted, doesn't get a mandatory for 18 months, longs out the negotiations while clearly paperwork was being done with BLK Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes, he's speaking to Avanesian because Avanesian didn't even look like he was in the picture whatsoever. Can get a contract done in 48 hours. Adrian Broner joins him over at BLK Prime, therefore leaving Errol Spence without any options whatsoever. And if he is to take a fight, he takes a fight against a much harder opposition than Terence Crawford at the last minute, or he doesn't fight at all and possibly get stripped. So I'm very disappointed as a boxing fan because the politics of boxing always seems to get in the way of us fans enjoying it to the most, right? So we can argue about our favourite fighters, but at this moment in time, even if Bud is your favourite fighter, you've got to stand there and say all of this is not only a little bit peculiar but very underhanded, and it's slightly disappointing to me. And I, for one, will not be watching the Avanesian fight.
Well, look, and bravo, Sean, very well said. And you're one of the few that have actually connected the dots and formulated the accurate picture. Because from what I've been told, and I haven't revealed any of this yet, from what I've been told, Team Bud Crawford with BLK Prime, they've known about this since earlier this year. Okay. Yeah. And so you have to maybe wonder, and this is just a theory, I don't know this for sure, but was he actually using the Spence negotiation to leverage the best deal he possibly could from an upstart and seemingly desperate streaming group of guys like this?
It's an interesting question, but I believe if you look at it from the outset, I believe that he knew he had this with BLK Prime, and I believe that he tried to shoot for. If he would have got the demands he wanted, if it was one of those situations like Canelo at Showtime, right? And they were like, "Hey, look, you've got the proven track record. You're making money. How much do you want? I want this. Caleb wants that. Fine, let's do it." Right? If that was the case, I believe he takes the Errol fight because they were saying there's no money.
Oh, of course. If they in sense make him an offer he can't refuse, absolutely. Hold that thought, Sean. we're going to introduce our very dear friend to the show, always insightful, always outspoken, our brother HLD. Welcome to the program, sir.
How we doing, Joseph? How we doing?
How you doing, my friend? Hey,
Good,
are
my
you
friend.
gearing up for the return of Vasil Lomachenko this weekend, brother?
I am because it's what's gonna give me the prediction of what's gonna happen next after that.
And guys, that's going to be a big feature in the back half of our show. We're going to talk all about
Okay.
this weekend's festivities with the odds, the breakdown, the style matchup, all of that, guys. That is a positive. We're just getting the shit out of the way in the very get-go, so we don't have to address this caca for the rest of the program, right? So here it is. HLD, your thoughts on this tire cluster bleep?
It's probably one of the most janky crap that I've ever seen in the history of of professional boxing, and we've seen them all come and go, right? But this is this is really janky, and for a guy like myself and very few others here in the YTBC, I mean, we connect the dots pretty quick, and we're not no FBI agent, if you know what I'm saying. It's very shady up to this point to me. There's nothing that adds up, nothing that makes any sense. Who is BLK Prime? None of it makes sense. There's all these narratives with Silicon Valley investors that's not true. They don't have a business license. You go to their prime, I mean, if you've seen the video for one of our other YTBC guys, he went directly to the place, and what he found.
You're talking about our brother Smoke.
Yes, get the smoke. He did firsthand journalistic stuff.
I don't want to cast aspersions, but yeah, look. That was their corporate filing. That address was no good. That had neither here nor there. But I'm not going to say anything. But look, I love Smoke. He's a great guy and he's a very intelligent dude. But I will say this, HLD. Who's the lead promoter for this event again? Exactly.
Well, I mean, hey, let's go with the narrative. Let's go with it. It's your boy. It's your boy Blue back out, bringing you another one. I mean, that's the only face that we've seen about this.
Okay, so once again, who's the lead promoter in this event? Like, I know several guys involved now that are trying to put this together at the 11th hour, right? But I still can't get an answer. Hey, are we going to get a press conference? Hey, who's the lead promoter of the event?
Did we get one yesterday?
No, geez. Yeah. See, that's a problem. We still haven't heard publicly from Terrence Crawford after all of this was announced. We got a shit press release. That's about it. And Adrian Broner and people are running with this narrative, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and start this conversation. People are running with this. Oh, see, AB, man, he left PBC. And some people are saying, oh, see, people are jumping ship from PBC. And I'm like, guys, do you realize he's still under contract in advisement with Al Heyman? Al Heyman is going to make 20% off this deal with BLK Prime if he even makes it to the fight. From what I understand, Adrian Broner is not going to compete in the ring until February. Now, under which weight division, I have no idea. But Al Heyman, he's still advising Adrian Broner. He's going to make 20% of everything Adrian Broner makes, which is a lot more than he's going to make under Showtime.
Joseph, so, there's just one question I'd like to ask you. You may know, but it's been just BoxRec had Crawford and David announced on their website.
Yep. And look, BoxRec, and here's the skinny on BoxRec, guys. Look, anyone can send anything to BoxRec. If they're a name or anyone in this business, they could send a fax to BoxRec to put something on, and they'll do it without verification. Okay? So I could say that HLD, you and I are going to tangle in San Antonio, Texas, okay, on December 10th, and I'll send it to BoxRec and they'll post it as long as we're registered fighters. So that means absolutely nothing.
But why did they pull it afterwards? That's my question. They
Probably
took it
because it
down.
wasn't verified. They probably tried to get it verified and they couldn't. Just like everyone else who is in the dark with this thing.
When you go to the stadium for the tickets for that calendar date,
Yep.
everything else they have a name of at least what's gonna kind of happen, right? Doesn't mean you're gonna have to sell
Yep.
tickets, but you go to it and it just is private event.
Yeah, look, guys, I'll be very, very surprised if this goes off on December 10th. Because once again, we have no idea who even the lead promoter is. And this is from people who are trying to work with BLK Prime and who are involved in this event, supposedly.
Well, that date's stacked anyway. So
yeah, why would you want to? Once again, this is 2 weeks before Christmas. There's another big event going on with Ashanti and Ja Rule, right? In Omaha, Nebraska, the same city. And then you've got an event for free on ESPN, mainstream ESPN, the flagship channel, Teofimo Lopez and Jose Pedraza.
With the most stacked card that I've seen in a long
with
time.
all of their best prospects on Heisman Trophy weekend, right? So, guys, once again, if this thing goes off, I'll be very, very surprised. In my opinion, they push this back to next year.
I put $10. It ain't gonna happen. Anybody want to take that?
10?
No, dude. Your money's good, brother. No.
sounds like you're super sure there, man. Putting a lot
We're
down.
right there.
I'm taking as many $10 bets, making it volume wise.
Oh, it's one of them, right? Let me get my other subscriptions up and running. I need to remember the password.
Yeah, I just think it's terrible. It's terrible the way that it was done. The blindsidedness of, look, I'm not a PBC fan, but I do believe in decorum and trying to do things with integrity, and at the very least, all right, we're not gonna have a fight this year. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys know this is what I'm gonna do, and right. You do things kind of the right way, but just blasting off the table and not saying anything. I don't even see this as far the fight fans, especially those who are the hardcore Crawford and Spence fans. I don't see that fight ever happening again.
No, it's deader than dead.
I mean,
from what I've been told, and look, and you already got you guys. Anyone who's been listening to this show for a considerable amount of time understand where I get my shit, right? And so I'm going to tell you this from what I've been told by this same person. They have no desire to work with Terrence Crawford ever again.
Obviously,
that this has been such a horrendous, belabored experience, painstaking experience in their verbiage, that they'll be very surprised if any major promoter or major network wants to work with Terrence Crawford ever again. That after this deal, he might as well retire from the sport of boxing.
Even in smaller business, this is unacceptable. The amount of time taken, the phone calls, the emails, the contracts that have been drawn up, the back and forward,
between 5 and 6 months, John.
The speaking to advertisements, the TV deal, satellites, just like Coach Ronnie said. Absolutely everything that's involved, disgusting behavior.
And that's just on the business side. We're not talking about the egos, right? Like, hold on. You left me on the altar for that? For that?
Jeez.
Right. You left me for that?
For any Errol Spence fan out there, the hardcore Errol Spence fans.
But then everybody kind of think that this was. I always doubted it from the beginning. I always doubted it was ever going to happen. I mean, didn't everybody feel that way?
No.
Well, no. Look, man. Well, I had my doubts initially, but when I was told by people who I trust that both fighters had agreed to terms, I was like, hallelujah, this is amazing. But then. Yeah,
they both said it in interviews.
Yeah, and then they both told me a week later, right, that one fighter had taken exception to some of the items in the contract, right, without representation who's familiar with putting together any of these deals. Keep in mind, both attorneys that Terrence Crawford had assigned to represent him in this situation, they have no knowledge or experience of the boxing business. Look, if he had just aligned himself with his former manager, Cameron Duncan, or Richard Schaefer, or Mike Miller. This deal would have already been made, and the fight would have already taken place.
Not going to though, is he? Because he had no intention of doing it.
That costs money too. You know what I mean? So he doesn't want to spend that money. He's trying to keep it
Yeah,
to himself.
he's gone for somebody who doesn't know the business, who's cheaper, because his intentions were not to take this fight anyway.
Okay, so this is interesting, right? Well, first of all, I'd give my brother Pound for Pound a big shout out. Guys, if you haven't already subscribed to Pound for Pound, please go do so at this time. He's a great guy. Also, Tyrese Bowie, thank you for joining us, sir. Cool Money says this. I'm sorry, I have to disagree. No way that he's been wanting and waiting on the only fight that he's been interested in to fight a non-title contender. Look.
Not the way to look at it.
Look, this is his inexperience in trying to put together a deal of this nature, right? Okay, from the outside looking in, if you actually assume that he actually knew what he was doing, you would have to assume that he's pricing himself out of this deal. Because no one, okay, and this is Terrence Crawford, no one comes to the negotiation table demanding $22 million from Showtime Sports when your biggest pay-per-view to date is what, 120,000, 130,000 at best?
That's the point. He didn't, like, I know that Cool Money just said the only fight he ever wanted. That's what he said. But his attitude and his actions have shown the complete opposite. Because if it was the only fight he ever wanted, and his last fight he got paid $6 million up front, which is below what he was being offered as a guarantee from Showtime, plus pay-per-view back ends with what we could say a bigger name at this current moment than Sean Porter was back then you would say that he would take that all day long if this is the only fight he ever wanted. It wouldn't be about money. The man was at the Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, and he said about him being himself there one day and walking into the Hall of Fame. You want to go into the Hall of Fame and be the first male in the four belt era to go undisputed twice. You take this fight. It's that simple. You don't come in with 22 million. You know that Errol wants this fight to go undisputed. You know you have the undisputed over him. You said you wanted Errol Spence or Jamel Charlo, and you have neither. He's not a man of his word. He's been arrogant, and he's been a prick about the whole entire thing.
Well, look, not in my words, right? And HLD's probably heard this as well from several other people, right? But from my guys, this is what they've told me verbatim. Terrence Crawford in this an entire belabored negotiation has acted like a delusional diva. End quote. Yeah. Those aren't my words, guys. Okay? Because I'm not involved in this shit. I'm just giving you exactly what's been told to me.
Yeah, but Joe, it's obvious. Listen, this is Errol Spence. This is Showtime PBC. They've been in the sport for a hell of a long time.
Look,
okay,
and
if you're going to make the fight and you're talking about money, that's a place to make money. If you then go and take 10 million guaranteed for a $40 pay-per-view on an app that hardly anyone has, and all along you've been asking for 22 million.
Okay, so I defy anyone to go message Steven Espinosa and ask him to deny this. That Showtime weren't willing to guarantee Terrence Crawford $8.5 million at one point in time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 8.5 million guaranteed with pay-per-view back end with him and Errol Spence on Showtime.
Like seriously, anyone who doesn't believe that, go message Steven Espinosa. Go message Chris de Blasio.
No, I believe it. 100%.
No. I'm telling anyone who doubts this, go message them and ask them to deny this. Okay? Or verify this. Ask them.
So he wants 1.5 million more guaranteed purse to fight Avanesian on an app that no one knows.
No. And once again, I can tell you this. Let's go back up to our brother Larry. Right? He says this. Is 10 million the real number? Guys, once again, I know some people who are actually involved in this BLK Prime promotion. Right? As a clusterfuck as this is, pardon my French, they've told me that was erroneous reporting from Mike Coppinger, that it's nowhere near that amount. right? It's nowhere near that amount. That
Cappinger.
it's going to be incentive based. That it's nowhere near 10 million, guys. Okay.
Incentive
I don't know.
based. Yo,
Yep.
Joseph, incentive based. Look, right now at $39.99, if that number was real, if that he has to sell like 400,000 pay-per-views.
Brother,
Good
to
old
make
Cappinger. Good old Cappinger. And his calculator.
and if they were to sell at that stadium that which is supposedly 18,000. Now his last fight he only had like 12,000 people show up. But let's say his highest price ticket, let's make them all 150 at 18,000. That's still only $2.7 million.
You see
So
how ridiculous this is. You see how ridiculous
you can't
this is.
expect much from the live gate. And guys, let me tell you, this pay-per-view with BLK Prime is going to rival Clarissa Shields' last pay-per-view. Remember the one she did in Detroit with Salida Promotions?
record breaking.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone talks about it now still, Joe.
Look, from what I was told, I think it did maybe like 5,000. Guys, this is going to rival that.
I'm telling you, you'd see, when you talk about it openly and honestly, rather than people shouting back and forwards, trying to stick up for a fight that doesn't even know they exist. 8.5 million on the table guaranteed, with a split on the back end pay-per-view on Showtime PBC, which would be much higher than $40, which is well known for millions of people, and you turn that down. And, and go for $40 in an 18,000 seat stadium in the snow. Come on.
And the thing is that then the narrative is, right? Oh, well, if he's not going to fight this year, well, let him fight. Well, if this fight doesn't happen on December 10th and it goes into next year, what did he just do?
Yep. If he wanted to fight, go to the car park, for fuck's sake.
I mean, so now he's going to go fight next to the farmer's market. You could get your tickets next, at the farmer's market next to the corn and the beets. Like, it's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. He robbed the fans, and I'm not. Look, I'm into this because I like to get into the facts of things. I like that investigative shit. But as far as I'm not a hardcore fan of either one of these two fighters, but I do know many that are, and I feel for them. And they're hating on each other now. But the bottom line is, it sucks for them big time because they've been driving everybody crazy with this fight for 5 years. You know what I mean? And for this to happen, it's a disgrace. And to back it up, that he's getting his money. Look, guys, you have to fight at some point for your fans, and that's sad.
As I'm listening, era. And as I'm listening to this, I'm trying to decipher, and it's just becoming more clear that how would I elaborate on this? That Terrence. He could have just, because the reports were coming out that he was getting a raw deal. Why didn't he just say, you know what, they're boning me. I'm gonna tell the fans, they're trying to bone me. I'm not gonna take the fight and just walk away. Why would you, like we're saying, why would you keep leading them on and then pull a back door on them? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, once again, guys, I've already explained this like over a month ago, Frank. Look. They were so far apart in their guaranteed demand. And once again, guys, a fight of this nature, to have no guarantee is unheard of. Okay? The last fight, a super fight of this nature, to have no guarantee was Calzaghe Jones, in which Jones was the lead promoter. Right? In this situation, okay, neither Terrence Crawford nor Errol Spence Jr. is the lead promoter of this event. This event is being organized by PBC, and the lead promoter was Tom Brown Promotions. Okay? So this is unheard of. Guys, they were so far apart on the guaranteed purse that the Showtime brass said, look, we're so far apart, the only way we're going to be able to move forward with this is if we give you a percentage of everything from the first pay-per-view sold to the last, just so you understand that we're not trying to rip you off. If you think you're worth that much, then let's ask the fans how much you're worth. The real bosses of boxing. That's the only way we're going to move forward with this.
Yeah,
They just
my
turned
only
out for
question is
Wilder, though, didn't they?
once
All the
Terrence.
fans of Wilder just turned up, though, didn't they?
Yeah,
Well,
but what I'm saying
tell you
is,
what. I'll tell you what. Frank, finish that thought, and we're going to introduce someone else on the panel.
okay, when Terrence seen that it just wasn't gonna go his way, why didn't he just stop? He just should have walked away. That's what boggles
No,
my mind.
he's
Because
not
if he would
going
have
to,
just
though, is he? Because he's waiting on BLK Prime to
well,
get it
that's what
ready.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
No, it's
Bob.
true. Why you're not going to get rid of one thing that you've got in the wings, and knowing that the November date's now passed, and it was looking like it was going to be February next year, so he knew he had months in his pocket.
Bob Arum said something very interesting today when they asked him about this.
Yep.
And the most interesting thing, and see, it's about the business side, and that nobody understands, is that without him having a promoter, he's making then Al Heyman, whoever his backing, which is Showtime, to have to then guarantee both sides of this money, and
Yep.
that makes it a lot more complicated. Instead of him, like if he would have been represented by Bob Arum, Bob Arum would have guaranteed his side.
That's it. And look, guys, I guarantee you this fight would have already been made and it would have already happened because from what I understand, they wanted this fight to happen before the football season started back in late August.
Of course.
Okay. That's how long they've been negotiating this deal. Okay. And once again, the original plan was to, hey, give Al Heyman options on your next two fights, sign an advisory deal with Heyman, and we're in business. He didn't want, that was the first, and both fighters agreed to terms from what I understand, and then he took exception to that. And that's when the wheels started to officially come off. But guys, at this time, and I don't know who this is, but we're going to welcome him onto the panel. His name is Just Disappointed.
Oh, perfect.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Maybe it's Errol.
Yeah. Shaw, what up, baby?
Hey, what's up, G?
Hey, man. Joe, this is Rodney.
Oh, Rodney, how you doing, brother? Oh, you changed your moniker just for this appropriate labeled program. Very good,
painful
sir.
Times. It's painful times.
Joe, it's disappointing, but it's even more disappointing that we can't get Virgil. We can't get Boots. I want to take one of them niggas O's, bro. Yo, Joe, can you explain? Joe, can you explain why the hell we couldn't get one of the young guns and take their O?
Okay. Well, here it is, guys. And once again, this is the only silver lining to come out of this, Rodney. Right? Is that at least now we're going to start to alleviate the gridlock and the logjam that has become the welterweight division. Okay, from what I've been told, because of Richard Schaefer's great relationship with Heyman as well as Espinosa, that we're going to get Spence versus Staniones. Okay, so at least he's going to take care of one of his mandatories, right? And so that starts now. Once again, WBC, they just stated, oh, we're going to order Thurman versus Spence. You know, step back in line, because in front of you is the WBA with Gilberto Mendoza, as well as what's his name? Peoples. Daryl Peoples.
Daryl Peoples, yeah.
Yeah, from the IBF. Those are in front of you, Mauricio. So, you know, wait on that Thurman bullshit, right? That's neither here nor there at this point. He's just putting that out, right? So Keith Thurman, Spence, no, that's not a reality, guys. Spence is going to be moving up in weight before that ever sees the light of day. Okay? So at least we're getting, and once again, when Spence if he is successful in beating Staniones, and that's an if, because Staniones is a very good fighter. Okay?
Come on.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm just this is once again.
This is WAWR Week Radio, Joseph.
Look, I just said silver lining, brother. Don't steal my thunder, brother.
That crowd dissipated. Joseph.
At least. Okay, after this fight, if he is indeed successful in making this defense, okay, he's going to relinquish all the titles. He's going to move up, and we're going to finally see a lot of great matchups at 47. Arguably one of the more in talent and rich divisions in all of boxing. So hallelujah.
Well,
Okay,
this is the boss play I think that Crawford has about this though, because if Spence ends up moving up, it opens up the lanes for many more fights for Crawford at 147 to collect belts. Am I
Not
right?
that many.
brother.
Not that many because of
Look,
Showtime.
HLD.
If anybody wants to work with him,
HLD, with all due respect, sir, you haven't been listening, have you?
if
Okay,
anybody want to work with him,
okay. Well, HLD, and I'll say this once again, and not in my words, in the words of the Showtime brass. After this experience, okay, and everyone, okay, within the boxing business, there's something that Emmanuel Stewart once told me. He said, "Don't burn bridges in this business because you'll find yourself very quickly out of work because everyone knows each other and everyone talks." And it's absolutely true. After this experience, everyone understands what kind of a pain in the ass and diva that Terrence Crawford has turned into. And in their words, they told me that they'll be very shocked if any major promoter or major network wants to work with Terrence Crawford from this point forward.
Can we all agree that Demetrius Andrade is a fantastic boxer?
Well, he's a prime example of this. He's a prime example of burning bridges.
And he's got
exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
This is what's happened. Unfortunately, he started burning bridges before he carried the belts across them.
But I am surprised the way Bob Arum, talks about Crawford. He's not hammering him at all.
He won't. Well,
no. He's in the middle of a lawsuit with him. He's not
legal
going
proceedings.
to. Right. But look, Bob is trying to remain as politically correct as he possibly can at 91 years of age. And he's saying this. He's like, look, guys, no one's at fault here. Every fighter has their own specific demands, but I knew that this was going to be a problem without proper representation. If a promoter had been involved representing Terrence Crawford, this deal would have been much easier to make. And that's the bottom line, guys. And we've been telling you this for about a year now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this is the era that we're in because there's boxers how is it a boxer like Canelo without a promoter can still make a deal with Al Heyman? Even though he's trying to offer him free fight deal and he still says no and he still gets the belt and then he bounces.
Guys, make no mistake about this, okay? Canelo Alvarez, that's a completely different conversation than Terrence Crawford. That's on a completely different level. He is the golden boy. He is the moneymaker. Okay, he's the ticket seller. He's the badass right now. He calls the shots. And even then, right? He wanted to be lead promoter on the PBC event with Caleb Plant. What happened with that? He's like, oh, shit, I don't have the infrastructure in place to do this. Okay, Tom Brown, Al Heyman, dazzle me.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were the lead organizers and promoters on the event.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that for all the people out there that one, are blaming Canelo for taking all the money from Showtime, and two, for the ones that keep saying, well, they had the money for him, why don't they for Bud? There you go.
Oh, okay. So, once again, guys, look, and you can't fault Showtime or Paramount or CBS Viacom for any of this. Okay, with 43 million subscribers for both Showtime and Paramount Plus combined, they've got plenty of money.
Let's go be okay.
What are you talking about? Black Prime I saw has on Twitter like I think they're up to 800 followers. They got 800 followers on Twitter.
Then they've got trillions, HLD. They've got trillions.
No, I'm telling you, BLK's got 800 Twitter followers, man.
That's what they want you to think. They got trillions, man. They're down in Silicon Valley. Don't worry, it's takeover time. They're going to sell millions. Come on now.
Look, guys. Right now, BLK Prime is making Triller look like Top Rank.
Yeah, because they're doing great. They just
no joke.
They're losing everyone.
That's not an exaggeration, guys. That's not an exaggeration.
No, look, Eddie Hearn had to step in just for Tio to fight Cambosis.
Well, he was right there in line. He had the
because of the bid. Yeah, but he could have turned around and said, "Hey, look,
No, there was a lot of janky shit going on with Triller and all that too, but that's a conversation for another day about
Okay.
Peter Khan.
Once again, look, and I'm very sad to announce this, right? Because I was hoping that I would be doing lead commentary with Young Bill for the Frank Gore fight on December 3rd in San Antonio. It looks like, though, Triller has paid the licensing fee. So instead of Young Bill and I calling this fight, it's going to be Mauro Ranallo and Mario Lopez.
mediocre."
Oh, so they
Thank
should
you
have
for
picked
saying
it
that,
up.
my friend. Thank you for saying
mediocre.
that. So my point is, though, Triller's still in business, but they're only interested in circus
Barely.
events of this nature.
Barely.
Right,
That's
the
what
attraction
BLK
stuff,
does,
right?
They do
Okay,
backyard
so
boxing.
BLK Prime, in comparison, they're signing shot fighters and non-ticket sellers who are demanding millions of dollars.
Imagine saying Adrian Broner.
So once again, this just exposes how little they know about the boxing business.
Well, I imagine they're just using that. They're doing what's common right now, really, isn't it? Clickbait titles, shock tactics. I mean, we're talking about it far too long. Let's be honest.
Okay, guys. So I tell you what, I'm gonna give everyone their opportunity to share their final thoughts on this before we put this away for the rest of the evening. Okay, HLD, you're first, sir. We're gonna go counterclockwise.
I have a bet out for $10. As many who want to take that this fight is not happening on December 10th. I think the headlines. I would not be surprised if the headlines next week is the FBI and the Attorney General have they're doing some snooping around. There's something does not add up about this. And but if it's legit, I hope it's good, and that's about
I'm
it.
sorry, HLD, back away from your mic, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
But outside of that, I mean, it's. I just feel for these fans. I think they're the ones who ultimately lost, and boxing in itself, it's literally a black eye, and no pun intended with Black Prime, but it's just a black eye in the sport. Money rules, greed rules, and the wild west keeps on going on.
Ching Gao, HLD. Sean, your final thoughts on this nonsense, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nonsense. I mean, look, other promotion companies coming into boxing, it's not a bad thing, not at all. If it works, and they build and they move and they help the up and coming fighters have a platform before they move on to bigger events, it's fantastic. But the way this has gone around, and the way they're doing all of this, and the underhanded tactics and the discretion that's involved, I don't know. I don't see how this is going to be good for boxing. So it's a shame. I feel bad for Errol because he always said what he was going to do. He was going to clean up his side of the street and come for that last belt. And I hope that they can meet like Manny and Floyd did that time and have a talk between the two of them, sort it out, and we do get that fight. And if we don't, we'll probably talk about this in 25 years' time as one of the fights we never got.
Yep. I think you're right on the money, brother. Next, we're going to hand the baton off to Big Frank.
Oh,
Frank,
okay.
your parting shots, and brother, take as long as you want, my friend.
Oh,
You're
okay.
very insightful.
In the immortal words of Coach Gogi, F them both.
He's such a thespian, isn't he?
F them both. No, like you say, Joe, it's our beloved sport. It's disappointing. But you know who only cares is boxing degenerate junkies like us. The casual doesn't care.
Yep.
And they put the pay-per-views over the top. I don't wish bad on Terrence. I don't wish bad on Earl. I hope Terrence does well, but all I would say to the channel, to the chat, vote with your wallet. That's all you can do is be a savvy consumer. If you feel it's not a fight that's worth it, then don't buy it and send a message. And then as consumers of boxing, that's all we could do. But the silver lining is, like you mentioned earlier, is that it'll open up the division or it'll move up. Whatever happens with Bud, if he wants to continue these strings of $40 pay-per-views against Euro cats, then more power to them. But you know, I won't support it. And I don't know if I'll support Earl and Stan Jonas, but if we get Earl and Fedora, I'll support that. You know, I'm just going to be a savvy consumer, and that's all I would say for boxing heads like us is to do that, is to support the fighters that you like and don't support the ones you don't. Maybe you'll send a message and Bud will have to come back to the table. I hope one day they do fight, but if they don't, I'm okay with Virgil Ortiz and Stan Jonas or all those names together.
Ron Boots Ennis. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so I like Coach Goey said, you know, F them both, and that's how I feel. I'm not gonna watch the fight. I'm not gonna buy it.
You know what, brother? You know what, brother? Bravo, very well said, because any fighter who puts himself, or any fighters who put themselves above the good of the sport, the health of the sport, F them both. And that's it. But I tell you what, before we move forward, let's get the thoughts of our very dear friend who's joining us right now. Puro South Central, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Joseph? What's going on, fellas?
Thank you for joining us, brother. Your final thoughts on this before we move forward and start talking about this weekend's matchups.
Well, why you invite that troublemaker?
Me? Nah, never.
as you were, Puro.
I mean, not too much. The only thing that got me was like the $10 million. But yeah, like you guys were saying, I don't think that's an accurate number. You know, I'm not gonna buy this fight until like 10 minutes before the ring walk, though. I'll say that. But other than that, it is what it is. It's not the first time a big fight has caught snags and this and the other. So I mean, it is what it is.
Well, look, and this is what's so heartbreaking about this, right? We have been told that there's been a negotiation going on for months. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Louis Bowe never were at this. It was never at this advanced stage of negotiations. Only to pop the balloon out from under us, right? Okay, so this is a huge disappointment. But I tell you what, let's go to the chat real quick. This is a problem, right? And so our brother Juice, welcome to the show, sir. He says, the more networks, the more fights. What's the problem? I just watched. Well, here's the problem, brother. Back then, when we had HBO and Showtime as the two premier platforms for all the best fights, right? ESPN was merely a secondary platform, just like Showbox, Boxing After Dark, Telefutura, that sort of thing, right? But we recognized, and mainstream fans understood, that the best fights took place on HBO Championship Boxing as well as Showtime Championship Boxing. Now, you've got promoters sign exclusive deals with every individual network. Okay? So when you enter now Triller, BLK Prime, who the hell's going to fight on that? Like, what kind of fights do you think you're going to get?
Adrian Broner?
Shit! Adrian Broner? Oh my gosh, the pot-bellied Fred Sanford? Dude, are you kidding me? Dude, this is a guy I will highly doubt if he even makes it to the ring in his first contracted bout with BLK Prime. Like, I'll highly doubt that.
Embarrassing.
So our brother Cool Bunny says, hey, Joseph, you should join BLK Prime commentary team. I'm sure that's a meal ticket. Look.
Yeah, get on it,
Okay,
Joseph.
I'm not going to say much on that, but yeah, we're
trying. Get on it, Joseph, and then do a poorly.
Well, look.
Speak so truthfully, you get fired after the fight.
Yeah. Well, look. Just give me a bottle of sweet amber, brother, and yes, I'm there.
This is a terrible promotion. This is a terrible night. It's too cold here. This is fight at a pub.
So Peter Von Ark says this, HLD, you're on point, brother, as you customarily are, my friend. I tell you what, and Larry Liston says, Frank, good point, brother. And there it is. And so Big Luke has the beat. He says, F those urban advisors. Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Big Lee.
They
Thank you
smashed
for
it,
joining
didn't
us, my friend. But Coco, welcome to the show, sir. Coco the Bulldog. He says, "What does BLK stand for?" Geez,
Bunch of lying crooks.
I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Okay, you might as well name it BLM Prime. Okay, that's it. And so, does that any indication of who they're willing to work with? I have no idea, but I really don't care. Guys, this is a cluster bleep. And the last thing we need is another platform trying to showcase fights. That's the last thing we need. We've got ProBox. We've got Triller. We've got Showtime. We've got ESPN. We've got DAZN. How many more do you need? Right?
Well, different sides of the street, mate.
Well, it's okay. They can sell it. You don't got to buy it. But just to add to something someone seen, we got Regis and Zepeda. That's gonna be pay-per-view. But buy it. It's a quality fight. So it's not really the pay-per-view. That's a
pay-per-view fight.
Oh, hold on.
In today's climate, yeah.
Hold on, brother. John McSmith has the shot glasses out. You know what? Don't mind if I do. I've got a full bottle of Sweet Amber right here. Hey, guys, if you're indulging, please do it with me at this time. God bless all of you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me on this evening, guys. God bless all of you.
Joseph. I'm on a protein shake.
Cheers.
On a protein shake. My apologies, Joseph.
Well, you're training, I'm sure, brother, and God bless you for doing that. But I tell you what, down the hatch, hold on. I've got to include this one. Big Luke says, AB, best man boobs in boxing. Holy shit. Woo!
What was he going to say that for? It's going to be well weird watching him now.
Dude, if you can get past the pot belly that he's got, oh my gosh! Did you see him work in the bag with that Fred Sanford belly?
Oh shit,
dude! What is he going to be competing against Andy Ruiz at heavyweight in February? Because what I've been told is that they're planning on organizing an event with Adrian Brunner in February.
Valentine's Day.
Holy shit. Guys, let's shift gears now.
It will probably be him and Paulie.
Let's shift gears now and go to some more relevant news.
Yes.
Right? This Saturday, October 29th, on ESPN Plus and ESPN, Vasyl Lomachenko is going to make his long-awaited return to the sport of boxing against the undefeated and awkward Jermaine Ortiz in your 12-round main event in the lightweight division.
Oh, wait.
Guys, are you excited? And once again, we're going to go counterclockwise. Are you excited to see the return of Vasyl Lomachenko, and what do you expect? And once again, let me shout out the odds, guys, real quick. Not very many handicappers want any action on this event because the line has been set as Vasyl Lomachenko a minus 2,200. Holy shit. Buro, what are your thoughts on this event, the return of the mad Ukrainian Vasyl Lomachenko?
Well, at minus 2,200, if this was football, I expect a blowout. But this is boxing, so I expect Lomachenko to do his thing. He might be a bit rusty since he hasn't fought in a minute. I haven't seen that much of Jermaine Ortiz. I saw the fight against Jamel Herring. It was a fun fight. I'm glad Jamel took his hands out of his pockets in this fight. It was a good fight, but enough to give him the nod over Loma. No, if it's an upset, would it be the humongous upset of the world? No, I don't think so. But I think Vasyl's gonna, do his thing.
Thank you, Puro. HLD, what are your thoughts, my friend?
I'm excited for it. I didn't say excited. I'm very curious to see how he looks. That's the main thing for me about this fight. See how he looks. As far as him winning, I don't have no doubt that he's gonna win this fight, even without the odds. If you just looked at today's press conference, this young man, he looked like Skeletor with the Devin Haney glasses on.
Overwhelmed, right?
You know, he was just weight drained, like he's weight
Oh,
drained,
jeez.
and he has a day to go right before tomorrow's weigh in. So
Yep.
I think the kid's got heart, and I think he's gonna fight hard. But I think Vasily Lomachenko is gonna knock him out or TKO him. No doubt about it. My main thing is just to see how is he looking, Loma? How are we gonna see the Loma that fought at least Kome or Nakatani? For me to make a decision what's going to happen next.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And thank you for your insight, HLD. You're always very insightful, sir. I'm still waiting for someone though to mention Devin and Bill Haney in this entire thing. Sean, don't disappoint me, brother.
That's why I said for my next thing. I thought that was the next topic.
Okay, Joseph, Devin and Bill Haney. There you go, mate. I've done it. No, listen. Let's be honest. I don't know why people are talking about seeing how Loma looks. I mean, it's Loma. He'll be exceptional. Okay, like we've just seen what Usyk did. Usyk was in the same place. These guys don't stop training. They've been fighting their whole entire life. He'll be exceptional. And also, do remember, Jermaine was one of his sparring partners when he was getting ready for Kome, and you saw what happened to Kome.
Are we gonna have an acting job like Hellenius? Is what we're saying?
There's no acting going on there or anywhere. I will say this though is that Jermaine's a great fighter and he's up for it. He's got some dog in him. Problem is he just gets too happy when he's throwing his combos. He throws them. You know, I was watching him fight today, and he throws them a lot, and he leaves himself open, and that's why he's been knocked down a few times. Against Loma, that's an absolute nightmare for him. So I'm going to be watching Loma to see, how the footwork is, and then match him up because now Shakur's in the division. He's ranked in the top 5 in 2 sanctioning bodies, I believe. So whatever happens on that night, if Haney does enter the ring afterwards and calls him out, respect to him. If he doesn't, it'd be interesting to see what Loma does afterwards.
Let me tell you something I saw today. Teal Senior was at the thing. He was training Ortiz on how to get you Loma. So that might change things. I'm just saying.
Listen, Loma's had shoulder surgery, and if people believe it or not, that was a big factor in the fight. And all you have to say is, have you ever woke up after sleeping on your shoulder? Now imagine going having a 12-round fight against Teofimo Lopez.
And as the world turns, okay, Big Frank, your final thoughts on this, brother.
Yeah, as far as Ortiz, I mean, I think he's limited. This should be a showcase for Lomachenko. I've seen the Haney saying they might be there, so that'll tell me a lot if they're going to actually be in attendance for the fight, because we know that's where it's leading. I really think that nobody wants a part of Loma. Nobody at his 135 wants a part of Lomachenko, including Devin Haney. So that's my hot take.
Wow.
Especially if he looks.
You're in the mindset of Paulie Malignaggi then, aren't you?
Absolutely. We all are. I think we're in heaven said it. We all are.
I could never be in the mindset of Paulie.
I'm not in the mindset.
We're going to move on to that in a second, brother. We're going to move on to that in a second. Look. I can tell you this, guys. And I think I tweeted this a little bit earlier, but this is where Bruce and Brad really shine. Because when you look at Jermaine Ortiz, this is a kid who's very awkward and he's very crafty and he's very hard to look good against up until this point, right? He's a counterpuncher by trade and he's very awkward. And he made Jamel Herring take the lead, something that he's not accustomed to doing, right? He's not fond of doing. When faced with a beast like, and once again, this is Brad. This is all Brad Goodman written all over it. He's like, let me take a guy who's undefeated, who's crafty, awkward, hard to look good against, and let me put him in against a style matchup that's going to be all wrong for him. This is Vasily Lomachenko, guys. This is a guy who has the footwork, the feints, the disjunct body movement that's going to freeze him all night long. He's not going to know when to let his hands go. And Lomachenko is going to make him look like a novice. Guys, expect a showcase a superior showcase for Vasyl Lomachenko on Saturday night, right? So here it is. Here's the next big question. When Lomachenko actually does the business, gives the business to Jermaine Ortiz and looks great doing it, that's going to create a lot of demand and a lot of buzz for Haney versus Lomachenko. Puro, do you think Haney actually takes the bait and goes through with this fight at 35, as emaciated as he was in his last fight at the weigh-in? Or does he claim that he can't make the weight any longer and move up to 140?
I think he takes it. I think he goes through with it. I think he fights Lomachenko.
Who wins?
I edge Loma, but Devin is more than capable of winning the fight. But I do edge Loma maybe like 65-35.
You know what, man? That's a great fight. Hopefully it materializes, guys. Hopefully we get to see it. And guys, I'm going to be the black cloud. I'm going to tell you why this fight doesn't happen. And it has nothing to do with both fighters' willingness, right? It has to do everything with the business of boxing. But I'll save that for later. HLD, your thoughts? Does Haney, does he get excited about this Lomachenko fight after a brilliant performance by Vasyl Lomachenko on Saturday night?
Well, if we see a subpar performance from Loma, I see we see this fight happening. If we see if we see the, like I say, we see the Loma that was against Nakatani, and
if we see the Matrix,
I'm not gonna call them, but at least that the guy that we saw him beat those two guys recently, I think it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow for. And it's because I do know the Haneys. I've dealt with them and talked with them and I know the way they move, and I don't think they're gonna want to take this fight. They got more to protect than to try to risk taking an O after all. You know, they're very proud of their reputation that they carry, whatever that may be. They're not gonna want to lose that. I think.
But here's the thing, though, HLD. Here's the thing. When you look at the business of boxing, how much is Haney worth at 135, seeing that he's got all the belts? He's the lineal champion at 35. At 40, being a non-ticket seller, how much is he worth at 40 compared to 35?
Oh yeah, there's a major difference. He's not going to make any money right off the bat, and I don't see him wanting to go against any of the top guys, for one of the belts right off the bat either. So so money wise, business wise, it's logical for him to take this fight, but who knows, which way they're going to want to make this happen. I want to see the fight. I want to see Devin Haney and Lomachenko. I would like the kid to prove me wrong all this entire time. If he is what he claims he is, then prove me wrong and make me a fan. So I would like to see this fight, but I would favor Loma if we see the Loma of Comey. That's the way I see it.
Wow! I tell you what, thank you, HLD. I appreciate it, my friend. Sean,
yes.
Tell you what, dude, pull out the pom poms. Come on, let me hear something positive, brother.
I'm hoping we see the best Loma we can. I'm hoping he puts on a fantastic show, and I'm really hoping that Haney gets in the ring afterwards and makes that fight happen. I think when you see Haney in interviews and he's being asked about Loma, he seems to have a little chip on his shoulder about that situation, and I like it. So I think it will be great for boxing, and it will be great for Haney's legacy, win, lose or draw, to start moving like that, especially with Shakur in the division now. Bob knows he has options, so he won't be relying on the Haney situation. He knows he's got Shakur in the back pocket. So I'm hoping it's a great night of boxing. I hope Jermaine comes out and gives it his all. It's a great opportunity for him. If he done the upset, it'd be amazing. But I don't see it. Seeing Loma train and knowing how good of a boxer he is and how much experience he has, I believe we're going to see it. We're going to see an exhibition.
And there it is, Frank. What do you expect to see on Saturday night? And do you think Well, Team Haney's going to be there, and you think they're going to have the same vigor that they've had all week?
Yeah, like we said, it'll be a Lomachenko showcase, looking sharp, fast, and explosive. And no, Haney won't do it because he can't, because he's built his name off this Lomachenko. Okay, just like Tank and Ryan. Okay, they've built their names off of each other. So when Haney, that duck narrative was false. It just wasn't true. But he built the name, because that's why we're talking about him. He made buzz. But you can't fight Lomachenko and lose. You're gonna lose all the fans who supported you. So there's no way in hell you're gonna take that risk, because it's a 50-50 fight. And I would lean more towards Loma just because he's the better fighter. What did you see that Haney did against Kambosos? I really want to know.
Dude, that's
I mean,
Kambosos.
yeah, exactly. Who was slow, was doing that, whatever he was doing. I
That
mean,
turtle tail defense.
yeah, did Haney do uppercuts, combinations? I mean, yeah, he has the good jab, but what did you really see that you could look at and say, oh yeah, he's gonna give Lomachenko that work? Because you have to be a special fighter. The Haneys would have never positioned themselves to attach their name to Loma if they didn't think he was a special great fighter. Because why didn't they attach their name to anybody else? Really
Joseph,
ask yourself those questions.
My understanding, and when I heard from Bob Arum too,
let's hear it, brother,
is that Haney is, this would be his last fight with Top Rank if he finishes at 135. But if he is to relinquish his belts, then it and go to 140, then it extends. He owes then Top Rank 2 to 3 more fights.
That is absolutely accurate, brother. How did you get that info?
I know. So he's in between a rock and a hard place. Either you fight Lomachenko and hopefully you get out of this deal and run back to Eddie, or you face Teofimo next.
Look, dude. If he goes up to 140, he's still in good hands. He's still with Bruce and Brad, the two best matchmakers in boxing. But how you got that HLD, I will never know, but kudos to you, brother, because that is right on the money. That is right on the money, brother. It's only his third option if he stays at lightweight. Very good, brother. But I will say this. Here's want to welcome our brother Funkrites to the show. He says, hey, Joe and panel, I know that you're going to say, Joe, Bill will price Devin out. You've heard this show before, haven't you? However, I've heard that Aaron plans on making this a pay-per-view. Does that change your opinion? That depends. Look, guys. Bob understands that this is not a pay-per-view fight, even if it's Vasyl Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Guys, let's all be realistic. This is not a pay-per-view fight. It's a huge fight for diehards. But just like Crawford Spence, this is not a big mainstream marketable commodity. Guys, that's the issue that they're going to face coming up. Haney, after making $3 million for Jojo Diaz, after making $3 million for Yorkis Gamboa, after making over $3 million for his last fight with George Kambosos, guys, he's going to demand at least $5 to $6 million to face Vasyl Lomachenko, especially now that he has all the titles. That makes this a very difficult fight to make with a guaranteed purse combining both fighters approaching $10 million. Is this a $10 million guaranteed purse, guys? No, it's not.
It was
not
close. The original Tio and Loma fight, when it was supposed to take place before the pandemic, was at about approaching the $10 million mark.
No, dude, it was not even approaching. It was like 5 million and some change. And that actually attracted, 3 million viewers on ESPN?
Right. 4.2 across the entire platform, I think.
Yep. This is a problem, HLD. This is a big problem. So while I think that Haney and Bill, Devin and Bill, are going to do everything they possibly can to make this fight a reality, we're going to run into a very similar situation as Crawford Spence.
Joseph,
Yes, sir.
Could I just say something? Play devil's advocate here.
Let's hear it.
The whole reason why Haney had to take the deal that he took with Cambosis is because of what Loma would agree just for the belts, correct?
That's it. Yes.
So it would be feasible to think that Loma would say to Bob, whatever it takes, make the fight. And if that means he takes less on his purse, I guarantee that he would allow that to happen.
You know what, brother? You make a lot of sense,
'Cause
except for the fact.
I just see he wants the belts. He wants those belts.
Except for the fact that Haney, like I said, it's like he is killing himself to make 35 already. Okay.
Yeah, but
he understands that his stock is worth a lot more when he has the belts. He's the undisputed champion at 35.
I know, but he's going to drop him.
He's going to drop them and move up.
So imagine if Bob comes to the table and he does want 5, and Loma takes a lower purse to make that happen. The fight happens.
Oh, geez.
Because I see Loma's the type. I know that Loma's the type of guy that would do that. Because the Cambosa showed that, and Haney wanted those belts and knew that with Cambosis having those belts, that was a great opportunity for him to grab them all in one go.
So are you saying that you think that Lomachenko will be the person who makes this fight a reality?
Yep. Look at the history. Imagine if Cambosis didn't beat Tio. Haney wouldn't have these belts right now. And I'm sure it would have took
and he wouldn't be signed to Top Rank either.
No, he wouldn't. But the whole reason why everyone gave him such credit for taking the deal that was offered to him with the rematch clause is because he turned around and said, I'll take what Loma took.
That's it.
Now, and Loma was ready to go to Australia and take less and do whatever it took to get those belts. He was the one who put that in place to begin with.
Sean. And what were Haney's first words after making that deal? Well, you know what? We are agreeing to what we feel is not what we're worth, but we're going to do it anyway just to make history.
Exactly, because on the back that Loma was doing it for legacy, not money.
That's it.
So look if Haney's going to move up, and Loma knows that those belts are then going to be dropped across the sanctioning bodies with Shakur Stevenson waiting in the wings, with Tank waiting in the wings, with Isaac Cruz waiting in the wings, and you get the opportunity to make that fight, knowing with the confidence that he'll have that he could get those belts, I see Loma, especially now, reaching the end of his career and knowing that this is his shot to do what he didn't do before and grab them all and be undisputed without a shadow of a doubt. I believe that he would take less on the purse if it meant Haney getting in the ring.
Let's hope that you're right, brother, because I would honestly, this is the fight that we need to see, guys.
Oh, the style matchup is incredible.
That we need to see Haney versus Lomachenko. This is the fight that we need to see, guys. Frank, please chime in, brother. What do you feel? Do you feel that this fight is going to materialize? And do you feel that Lomachenko or Haney is the favorite?
I feel, like I said, it's not going to materialize. He'll move up. Like someone said, it's better he just drop the belt and move up and put himself in a position to be at the top right away in the rankings. That would make the most sense. But I feel that Lomachenko would win, and I think Lomachenko would end up stopping them. I just don't think he has the tools. From what I've seen, questionable chin. He's got rocked a couple times. No inside game. That Lomachenko would stop him. Now, it won't be easy. He has a good jab. But it's like I said, you have to imagine, just like I said, that he can't lose to he can lose to anybody else but Lomachenko. Because of everything that they've done. They smeared Lomachenko's name. That was them. They initiated the campaign to attack Loma's integrity and say he ducked, but just wasn't true. So they built their name. Yeah, I mean, really think about it.
Bill called them White Jesus, and he said that he didn't even. He said he didn't go to war and shit like that. I'm like, what the hell?
So it's nothing against Haney. It's just he built his name against smearing this guy, calling Loma a duck. Now Loma, I'm sure, has an ego and he feels he's a champion, and so a guy talks to you like that, disrespects your name, and then he takes off. Now you tell me what part of just being a man in a sport of boxing that is. Really, I mean, think about it that way.
Oh, jeez. You know what? You know, Frank. Oh gosh. I tell you what. Let's just hope that this fight gets made, guys. We're getting ready to shift gears to
Real
the
quick, I have
other
one last
fight.
question about it, Joseph, for you.
Oh,
If I
shit.
Let's
just want to
hear it,
understand.
Go ahead, sir.
My question
Go
is,
for
they have a 3-fight deal, right? So then that's already signed. So isn't the purse already part of that constructed deal for the
No,
third fight that they cannot outprice
no,
themselves? Or
no.
what does it mean?
It has yet to be negotiated.
And if
Any
it doesn't, what happens? I mean, like, what happens in a stalemate or something like that? It's not a
well,
purse
then,
bid or anything like that. So then what is it?
so Top Rank has to figure out then what they're going to do with Haney and his final option on their contract, right? In my opinion, this is going to be a huge problem negotiating this fight. They're going to want, considering them once again, considering the lack of knowledge that Haney, Bill, and Devin have in the business of boxing, they're going to believe, right? And you're going to see another Teofimo Lopez situation. Cover your ears, HLD, because once again, you go back, right, to Teofimo Lopez, him believing that he was of higher market value when it came to negotiate the George Kambosos fight, and them saying, look, this fight is worth a lot of money in Australia, but because of COVID, it's not worth nearly as much in the States. Okay, Teofimo Lopez didn't want to hear any of that. They didn't come to a deal. It went to purse bid, right, because this was a mandatory defense, and they ended up going with the highest bidder, which was Triller at the time. Okay, that was a nightmare for Team Lopez. Okay, you're going to have a very similar situation minus the purse bid option, right? Because once again, Haney has all the belts at this weight division, right? So you're going to have a situation where Haney, because it's such a challenging matchup on paper, he's going to demand at least $5 or $6 million. Now, once again, we go back to the prospect that Funkerty stated, right? Funkerty stated, hey, you know what? Bob stated that this could possibly be on pay-per-view out of necessity. Once again, guys, this would be thrust. If you're talking about a purse that's approaching $10 million, this is going to have to be thrust on pay-per-view out of necessity. It's not going to make any money for ESPN or Top Rank, but that's the only way you could possibly make this fight.
It might pay the salaries, in other words.
Yeah, that's it. It might actually fulfill the guaranteed purses, but that's the only way this fight gets made.
Yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
difficult then, because if I put up the numbers of what Teal did with Campa, right, and they were the exact same numbers as the undisputed fight, basically, with Kambosos, and this was versus Campa with no belts.
Yep.
So I mean, does Haney sell? It's going to be hard.
No, dude. Look,
Intercontinental belt, HLD. Intercontinental.
Look, man. Haney couldn't sell out my fucking living room on a Saturday night. Okay? I'm sorry, dude. He's not a ticket seller. You could put every belt on him. Okay? Every single belt on him. That doesn't increase his market value. Okay? Because what determines your market value in this business? It's the real bosses of boxing. What the fans are willing to spend to see you fight. That's what determines your market value. And if that hasn't increased from the two Kambosos fights, no number of belts is going to make a difference. That's what they don't fucking understand. That's what they don't understand. That's business 101, dude.
He's got the marketability as far as himself, his persona, but his style of boxing is just not the selling type, I guess.
You know what? It doesn't matter. It's like, look, go to your grocery store. Next time you're like buying groceries, right? Ask the person behind you. Hey, how do you feel about Devin Haney at lightweight? Let's hear what they have to say.
I live
They're
in
gonna say,
Mexico,
who?
Joseph. They'll laugh at me.
Yeah, they'll say, who? Is that an NBA player? Who
They'll
is
say,
that?
no hablo inglés.
Dude, seriously, that's the problem. And that's what these fighters don't understand, right? That's what they don't understand, guys. And that, in my opinion, just understanding the business and being in this business as long as I have, that's going to be the biggest problem in making this fight. But guys, let's shift gears. Look, we all hope that Haney Lomachenko happens next year. Okay? We all hope that. Let's shift gears, though, to the biggest fight of the weekend in terms of, well, most competitive, at least on paper. Because you look at the odds makers. William Zepeda is a 3-1 betting favorite on most race and sports books.
Wow.
While Jojo Diaz is a 2-1 betting underdog.
Oh.
Guys, this is a great fight on paper, but will it play out that way? We're going to go clockwise this time. Frank, does this fight play out that way? How does this end up being?
I think JoJo's gonna do the same thing he always does. He kind of just stands there, throws a jab.
What?
Throws
He
a
punches
shot.
with his face?
What?
I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Dude, come on. He's like too tough for his own good. His balls are too big for his own good. This is a guy who started his career, and I was there, man, doing publicist work for GBP, right? He started his career at 122. He was a featherweight in the Olympics. And now he's competing at 135?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just that he's not a 135 pounder. You add to that, he's with a tough, rugged guy. I think he gets stopped. I think this is the end of the road for him at this level. He's frustrating to watch. I don't know. He's just a frustrating guy. Even against Tevin Farmer and watching him against Linares, you want to just throw something because it's like it's there. It's like it's there. It just, it reminds me. He's a little more active than Rocky WAWR ever was, but I don't know.
Jojo, you know what? Thank God Jojo Diaz is a lot more active than Rocky Juarez. That guy was so frustrating to watch, man.
He has it, but he's just holding something back. It's hard to describe with some of these guys, some of these special talents that just, he doesn't have that next gear.
Well, let me tell you, Roberto Diaz, and I spoke to him the day before yesterday, and he said, look, this fight is designed to be one of the best fights of the year. I wish I shared his enthusiasm for it. Sean, your thoughts, brother. What do you think of the odds, first of all, and how do you think this fight plays out? Once again, William Zepeda is a 3-1 betting favorite. Jojo Diaz is a very live underdog at 2-1.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Jojo's definitely got the better experience, though, with fighting better fighters, let's be honest. Bit small, though. Both southpaw. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think it could be a really good fight if Jojo really bites down and goes for it. But I think the size might be a problem. But hopefully he can use all of his experience. I mean, his resume is much better than Cepeda's.
Well, when you talk about resumes, I'll point to Chris Algieri versus Errol Spence Jr. Do you remember when some clowns were actually talking about Chris Algieri pulling off the upset? Okay, how'd that turn out? Guys, are you
comparing Cepeda to Errol Spence, Joseph?
Yes.
So taking the bet on the Errol Spence Cepeda.
No. In this situation, I am.
Okay.
Because it's very analogous, right? In terms of power, natural size versus skill set and resume.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So well, let's I tell you what, let's pass the baton to HLD. HLD, who do you like in this fight? Do you think the odds makers have it right? Do you think we're going to see the most competitive fight of the evening on Saturday night with Jojo Diaz, William Zepeda?
Well, with what's on stake on the table is basically really, the future of either one of these two fighters moving forward, because they're like right now in the twilight, because Zepeda, he's had a couple of bad outings in the last couple of fights, especially his last fight. He looked
He sure
terrible.
has.
He
Yep.
looked terrible in Mexico in that fight.
Yeah.
And it was really it was disappointing for me, because I have a lot of hopes for this young man.
Wait
So
a minute. What, Buddha, weren't you in attendance that night?
For which one? For which fight, Joseph?
the
Williams
swimming
and
pool
Pereira.
fight.
No. I was in the Tijuana one, the one where he got knocked down.
Ooh, damn! I think that's the one that HLD is
What
pointed.
is
Right?
that Viegas?
Yep.
I mean there was, it was slip and slide and everything,
Oh,
but
yeah.
He still knocked him out in the third or fourth round, though, didn't
He
he?
did.
He did.
He
yeah,
did.
but it was ugly. It was just he got so as far as JoJo, I give the man, he has heart. He tries to be scrappy. I agree with Frank Bay. He kind of fights like he's constipated, like he's holding shit back.
Constipated? Really?
Yeah, he doesn't let him go, and you're like, damn, what are you doing, bro? Like, get it. Like when he was fighting Devin Haney, I'm like, dude, get it right now. This is the time. You got like you're not doing it. So but either way, I think it's a very important fight, more for the young man who doesn't have an established career, and if he loses to JoJo, that's gonna be a big drop. So it's who's gonna win? JoJo's never been dropped. JoJo's not been stopped. It's really like the odds makers got it. I think it's really close to a 50-50 fight. I can't really make a decision as we speak. But if I had to, because I think it's for the betterment of the sport, I think I would like the young lion to win because he has a longer career path that he can improve on, and if he falls right now, it could be the end of his of his career for the moment, for the next few years.
Wow, Puro. I tell you what, you were up front and central, man, in Williams and Pereira's Tijuana fight, brother. Do you like this matchup? Do you believe that Roberto Diaz is being accurate in saying that this could very well be fight of the year?
It could be. I think JoJo knows this is probably his last shot to keep his name relevant in the division. In the terms of style, in my humble opinion, I think JoJo struggles with pressure fighters, especially pressure fighters with power.
Yep.
So I actually think it's going to be exciting while it lasts. I actually have William Zepeda knocking JoJo out in like the 8th, 9th round. And I think highly of JoJo, but I think his specialty is when he fights like what they call slick boxers or like pure boxers, he has success. I actually thought he beat Devin Haney when he fought him. It's just the style matchup here is just all wrong for JoJo, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. We might even shit. JoJo doesn't hit that hard. I think it's going to be a barn burner while it lasts. I think it'll be a barn burner while it lasts. Most definitely. But I'm going to be ringside for this fight. It's my first ringside fight ever.
I love it, brother.
I'm excited, and that's my pick.
Woo!
Enjoy the night, mate. Enjoy the night.
Thank you what, man, soak it all in, brother.
Can't go wrong, man.
Soak it all in, my friend. That's why we do this, right? I tell you what, my brother Funkergees has the beat. Definitely has the potential for fight of the year. Here's why it's going to be a one-sided ass whooping in favor of William Zepeda, right? If you, and I'm sorry, guys. I hate to be the wet blanket.
Joe just goes around for us just to talk nonsense.
I'm sorry, guys. Here's the wet blanket. And once again, Sean knows this, man. Here's the wet blanket, brother. Look. We've all seen, right, how William Zepeda performs when he doesn't respect an opponent's power. Okay, even one that's more skilled than him. Okay, we saw the fight William Zepeda versus Hector Tanajara Jr., a guy who's really skilled, right? Tall, rangy, great jab, but couldn't punch himself out of a wet paper bag. Okay? Jojo Diaz at 35. Oh my gosh, he couldn't punch himself through cotton candy at 35. William Zepeda is going to walk through him like a hot knife through butter. It's going to be over within 6 rounds. And I'm just saying 6 because of the heart and the toughness that Jojo Diaz has. He can flip off as many media members as he wants to, but that's not going to change the damn outcome of this fight. William Zepeda by vicious knockout or maybe corner stoppage in round 6. And there it is.
Joseph, can I add one more thing that I forgot to add?
Let's hear it, brother.
I also think Jojo might be a little distracted because I remember reading recently that he's in like this big contestant.
Talking about the lawsuit?
The right word. The lawsuit with his former manager. Yeah.
Yep. Well, not only that, man. What happened with the minor lawsuit? Where he exposed himself to a minor?
Yeah. I heard they threw it out, but I don't quote me.
I kind of heard that too.
I hope Zepeda knocks him out in the first round now.
Well, just an advice for everybody. Yo, if you're talking to your girl, make sure you're not using her number in a group chat where other numbers are attached to it, and you may get drunk or do something stupid and send an erroneous thing, because obviously everybody gets it. You know what I mean? So that's along the lines that I understand that happened.
Guys, get age verification, please. Get age verification, please. Sean, as you were, sir, go ahead, sir.
No. I don't like hearing that business. Zepeda to knock him out in the first round. Fuck Jojo.
Stop it, dude. I didn't say that, did I?
No, you didn't. But the word minor and exposing, that's all I needed to hear. Fuck him.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dude. You know what, man?
Don't have none of that business.
Look. To the defense of Jojo Diaz, he claims in this situation that he had no knowledge that she was a minor.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
Okay. Well,
we all know we've spoken to women. You know, and when you speak to young girls, you know it's quite simple. You can ask them 3 questions.
But this was the daughter of somebody he was seeing, I think, and I think that's what happened.
No, that's even worse, right?
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned the group chat.
Yeah, he knew exactly.
There was a group chat, and everybody got that sausage picture.
So Sean,
see what I mean? Throwing his sausage about like that.
Yeah, dude. We don't need to see the Mamon. All we need to see is the eulogy. Here it is. Funker G says Joe just wrote a eulogy there for JoJo.
Yep.
R.I.P. JoJo Diaz, and there it is, guys. So look. Whether you like it or not, JoJo may have seen his last opportunity as a headliner on this stage of boxing.
Let's hope so.
And there it is. Guys, trust me when I tell you, this is all by design. JoJo's going to put up a fight, but he's going to be a lamb to the slaughter. Okay? This is William Zepeda's coming out party. They're going to set up much bigger fights for him from this point forward.
Hope Zepeda uppercuts him in the Johnson.
So our final topic du jour, right, before I drink the rest of my sweet amber, there is a nasty rumor going around, guys, that the backup plan in case Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia falls through, right, in case they can't agree on the broadcast deal, right, guys, and forgive me for saying this. This is a nasty rumor. I don't want to believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh, Joseph.
But it's being floated out there. You ready for this?
No, Joseph.
Oh, here we go. Tank Davis versus Abner Mares later this year. Yep.
I've heard that around too. Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen.
See, I'm not the only one, brother. I'm not the only one.
I'll tell you one person who didn't see that coming.
Guys,
was Abner himself.
Look. Let's pray that this isn't true, because Abner Mares should not be fighting any longer.
No,
did he have a draw in his last fight?
Yes, he did. It was tough.
And he fought fucking great.
Oh, dude, Abner showed a lot of heart, dude. But come on, against Miguel Flores from Houston.
If he fights Tank, we're going to see him walk around with a stick.
Oh, jeez.
You don't have that type of eye problem and then be sitting there commentating with sunglasses on.
Oh,
come back and
Well,
have a draw and step in with
guys.
Tank
Look,
Davis.
the last time he was on a
Disgusting.
Showtime broadcast and in San Antonio, okay, we had dinner with Abnormades. And guess what? In the restaurant, he was still wearing his sunglasses.
Yeah,
That's
because you
how
can see
that's
his
how
eye,
self.
his eye, Joe, goes the other way.
Dude, he makes Antonio Margarito's eyes look normal.
Can we be honest here? If everyone was getting so emotional about Chris Eubank Jr. losing a few pounds and how it was bad for his health, can we have the same energy for Mahrez stepping in the ring against Tank Davis, please? Where we're
well,
going to see a man get
there you go.
blinded for the rest of his life. Come on.
Guys, this is getting borderline scary. So, in my opinion, guys, this is just rumor. Okay, this is just rumor.
which part you think? The Adnares or the Tank and Garcia
No.
fight?
Tank
Well, that's a
Mares.
problem.
In
That's a
my
problem.
opinion, the broadcast deal, okay, is the biggest obstacle standing in the way of Tank Davis. Well, aside from the legal shit, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
The zone and Showtime. I mean, that's a
so
problem.
which one you think is more the rumor that the Tank and Garcia fight falls through, or that Tank actually fights Mares?
Okay, the more realistic rumor is that the Tank Garcia fight falls through. In my opinion, Heyman is not that big of a cold bastard. There's no way in Hades that he puts together Tank Davis versus Abnormades. No way.
I hope so.
And I actually
hope
think
so.
that they already got the broadcast deal sewn up. They're just saying that they don't because they don't know what's going to happen with this court case.
You know what, brother? That makes a lot of sense because think about this. With as much money as potentially involved, and if DAZN guarantees the purse of Ryan Garcia, with Showtime only being responsible for the purse of Tank Davis, which is a $5 million exclusive, I know that for a fact. That locks everything up. Okay? With them splitting the proceeds, 5% apiece for DAZN and Showtime. Right? That's a done deal.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
You make a good point, Puro, and if you think about it, it sounds a lot better saying there's problems with the broadcasting situation rather than we're waiting to see how Tank gets on in court.
Joseph, if I may, I'd like to read this 4-part tweet that Ryan Garcia just tweeted.
Let's hear it, brother. Come on.
Read it.
Ryan Garcia about 2 hours ago. He tweeted. It's a 4-part tweet. I want to fight Tank, and Tank wants to fight me. This fight is what boxing needs right now! Exclamation point.
Agreed.
I accepted all terms on my side and instructed my team to get it done exactly as offered. The fans deserve this fight. Our sport needs this fight. Part 2 of his tweet. We gotta get this BS figured out.
That's not good, brother. Wait a minute. What is the deal with Warwick Radio and always having a wet blanket to end the show? What the hell, man?
Joseph, I'm putting down the protein shake. I'm picking up a cognac because of you, Joseph.
No,
I'm picking up a cognac because of you,
training,
Joseph.
my brother.
I know. You hurt me, Joseph. It was sparring day today as well.
Oh my gosh!
I'm aching.
HLD. Hold on. Let me finish reading this. Okay. 2. Yep. We got to get this BS figured out. This should have been the best couple of months in boxing. Spence Crawford fell apart. Me and Tank running into issues. That's not what boxing is supposed to be about. Respectfully, celebrity boxing should not be defining our sport. Okay. I.e. Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. 3. Everyone talks about player empowerment in the NBA and other sports leagues. It's time to have a real conversation about player empowerment in pro boxing. 4, I want this fight for my career and real talk, my mental health. Oh, shut up, Ryan. The guys in charge can make this happen. Don't let this break down. I'm asking on behalf of everyone who loves the most beautiful sport in the world. End quote. Holy shit, guys. Holy shit.
The most beautiful sport in the world has to be bikini modeling.
Hey, Tank Mod is coming up.
Oh my gosh. So stop it. Stop it, HLD. Dude, curse your words. No. Look, guys. The most beautiful sport in the world, but the ugliest business in existence. Okay?
I still say bikini modeling.
So here it is. Larry Liston has the beat. Our brother Larry says, another fight we lost. You know what, brother?
Oh God.
If Tank fights Abner,
No, stop.
guys, I don't know what I'm
Joseph,
gonna do.
we're going away saying a man's about to become blind.
Oh,
Ryan's going to go into a spiral of depression. Bud's
my
fighting on
gosh,
BLK
guys.
Prime. Errol's sitting there
Oh my
twiddling his thumbs
gosh.
now, looking at mandatory pile up. Tyson
my
Fury's
gosh.
fighting Chisora.
Oh,
Come on.
oh,
Joshua's going to be
Sean.
fighting Dillian White. I mean, Joseph,
Dude, what is
it's
the deal
bad
with
out
Warwick
here.
Radio and ending every show with a piece of
Yeah,
shit?
we're gonna have to
Damn
sort this
it!
out. Gonna have to sort this
Oh
out.
my gosh, this is terrible, guys. I
Someone
had
called
no
Tank.
idea.
Hey,
HLD.
at least he started with be okay.
Shit.
You know what, brother? I'm sorry. I've got half a bottle full now of Sweet Amber. I'm
You better
guys. If
finish that,
anyone's
Joseph.
indulging, guys, seriously, take a shot with me because I really need it at this time. Frank, Sean, HLD, Puro, please do a shot with me, guys, because I'm feeling like I need a hug right now, dude. This
Salud.
sucks. This sucks, dude.
Salud.
My word. Unbelievable. That was really
Cheers.
good, actually. I might do another shot before we're done.
Just to make sure it tastes right, yeah.
Okay, so let's end this on another sack of shit.
Oh,
right.
Brilliant, Joseph.
Let's walk away from Ryan Garcia right now and Tank Davis because it sounds like this is on the verge of collapse.
Oh, Jesus.
Ching Gao. So let's go to let's go to Connor Bend with two positive drug tests.
Remind myself to leave these WAWR Week radios well before the end, Joseph.
Maintains his innocence. What the hell? How can you maintain your innocence after two positive drug tests? Guys, do you have a rational explanation for any of this?
I do.
Let's hear it, Sean.
There's a rational explanation from the fact that since 2021, there's been a huge investigation in clomiphene being found in chickens and in eggs, and there's been many tests across different sports of athletes testing positive for it for trace amounts, which, remember, he had an adverse finding for trace amounts, and they've been doing that since 2021 because the farmers are using it to induce ovulation in the hens, and they didn't realize that it was showing up in the meat as well. Now, that would only be eggs for Conor Benn because he is a pescatarian. But the fact of the matter is when I see a man that's so publicly getting bashed like this come out and say, I hope the apologies as loud as as the disrespect, and the fact that when he stood in front of the BBC, the Boxing Board of Control, they were fining him for misconduct, which was unrelated to the positive test. And there was a huge fine with that. Now his license had lapsed, so relinquishing his license was lapsed, and they honoured that. So he wasn't even licensed at that moment anyway.
Wow.
And he's going to a independent tribunal to clear his name because they were giving him a large fine and reprimanding him for something that wasn't even to do with the positive test. He felt, you're not going to give me a fair trial anyway. I'll relinquish my license and I'm going to go to an independent tribunal and clear my name. So when I heard that to me is someone that's at least trying to prove their innocence. Apparently, he's already done interviews with news media, the papers and the in the UK, which are going to be released tomorrow. I've been informed. Now, the rest of the sports media, the IFLs, the fight hypes, they will follow on after that, and he's going to say everything. Eddie keeps saying that they've got information regarding the tests and the levels and all of the
Yep.
tests from UCAD, which he's going to provide at some moment to try and prove his innocence over the period of time. Without seeing any of that, I don't know, but the way everyone's treating him about this being super guilty, I can't see a man who's going for the biggest fight doing something like this when he knew that when the WBC said to him that they were going to strip him from the rankings because he wasn't under WADA, that he said that was a clinical error. I'll sign up straight away, and went straight into WADA, and also went into WADA for Chris Eubank Jr. They both went in at the same time. That he would even be taking anything, it would be the most stupidest move you could do. So I sit there and I look at all of that and I say to myself, maybe, because can I also just say, if anyone's not aware, there was an interview that Kate Abdo did with the female boxer. Oh, what's her name? She just fought. Oh, I forgot her name. No. White, blonde hair. She just fought recently. She won. Oh, what's her name? It begins with an R. Her second name begins with an R. Anyway, do you know that she tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug purely from having unprotected sex with her boyfriend, who was
right on?
Right now, can you imagine? Are you
saying that Conor Ben had unprotected sex with his boyfriend?
No. No. Listen. But what if his girlfriend was taking it? He could. If his girlfriend was taking it, he could. And it's been proved, and she was cleared, because it's been proved twice that females have tested positive for performance enhancements from having unprotected sex with their boyfriends. Now, I know that's crazy, but it just goes to show how easy it is for something to show up on a test of trace amounts.
Brother, with Veda, yes, that is the most stringent testing available. Yes, that is correct.
That's why it's an adverse finding, not a positive test.
Here's the only thing that tells me that this is completely full of shit. Because I spoke with Victor Conti about this, right? And he said, it's impossible, Joseph. All of Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn's findings, this is not something, the drug that they tested positive for is not something that's traced amounts. It's a yes or no type test.
No.
Either you test positive for it or you don't.
Well, that would not be an adverse finding.
That's what Victor Conti told me personally 4 days ago.
Do you use your WAWR Week Instagram? Because I follow you on there.
Yes, of course, sir.
I will send you the actual link to the tests that are being done.
Well,
because it's turning up as trace amounts across many sports.
And to your defense, Sean, and to your defense, and to Conor and Eddie Hearn's defense, they've stayed consistent with this entire ordeal. They've maintained their claim of innocence, right? Yeah. In my opinion, though, what is the possibility, Sean, of, and this is a real problem, in the immortal words of Emmanuel Stewart as well as Ronnie Shields, okay, they've told me this for the past 20 years, saying, look, we never had to worry about any of our fighters pissing hot before we had conditioning experts infiltrating our beloved boxing. What is a possibility of them actually taking something that their conditioning expert gave them without their knowledge?
Well, of course.
Not clomiphene, though.
Yeah, of course. If it's in the food, we just said it. I'm going to send Joe the thing across many sports.
Please do. I want to educate myself on
this is what everyone said about Canelo, right?
No, it's not the same thing, though.
No, it's exactly the same thing.
It's not clomiphene. If you know anything about the use of how it's done and how.
No. HLD, listen. There is an article online from 2021. This is not an article that's been written about Conor Benn. This is an article about farmers using clomiphene
Okay,
to
so
induce ovulation and hence to produce more eggs.
So
What they
That's
didn't
what?
fine,
You
realise.
know
but I
what?
know
That's
meatheads. I understand the use of clomiphene through the meatheads of the gym.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, but see, they're using that for what?
Well, they're using
Suppression.
clomiphene to when you're on a cycle, you're gonna
Yeah, I
use
know this. I
clomiphene for
know
one
this.
of
Look,
the.
I know
My
this.
man, I like to
So
speak.
they're using
My
it to
man,
so.
you're
increase
not allowing me to
testosterone.
speak.
Hold on, guys. Stop. So the better question would be, then, do you really think the British Border Control was hasty in their decision in actually laying down the hammer on Connor Ben?
Yeah, they were doing it. They were doing it because of the pressure that was being done from Chris
They
Eubanks
were
either.
hiding it for weeks, though. What was the purpose of hiding this for weeks?
They weren't hiding it.
Connor Ben was removed from the WBC rankings earlier this year because
No,
he
he
did not
wasn't.
sign up to the clean program.
No, he wasn't.
He was removed.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
He
he
was
was
told he
removed.
was
He got
going to be
reinstated in
removed.
February.
He was told he was going to be removed.
No, he
He's
was
still on
removed.
there. He's still on there.
Go look at the rankings for February.
He's
Hey,
still on
Frank,
there.
hold on, guys. Stop. Frank will be able to appreciate this. John McSmith, our brother, says Jose Canseco admitted it.
He wrote a book about it.
And he threw everyone under the bus
Yes,
as
he
a
did.
result. Guys, look. All I can say is this. Just like BLK Prime, right? Judge slowly. And let's see how this plays out, okay? Everyone deserves due process, including Connor Ben, okay?
Thanks.
This
Hey,
is his
Sean,
livelihood, guys. This is his
Exactly.
livelihood. Let's let due process play out, and let's judge slowly in this situation.
And
Okay.
not only that, Joseph. The important thing is when people say they covered it up, that all of the information from VADA is sent out to every single person that's involved. So Chris Eubanks Jr. received the email. So did Eddie Hearn. So did Cal
Yep.
Sullivan. So did Connor Ben. They were aware of it at the time when they went and they spoke to an actual health specialist and a lawyer. They
Yep.
went and spoke to him, and the test levels that he had did not indicate that he was using anything for performance enhancement, which is why they wanted
On
to
the
go ahead with
secondary
that.
ones that they took, because they took several tests to try to clear it up. But how about the original tests? I'd like to know the ones that they first caught from VADA. Those are the ones that I want to see the levels at. Not
There's
the ones that
only
they
one
took
test.
afterwards.
There's only one test.
No,
There's
they
only
had
one
their own
test. That's correct.
independent.
No. Everyone gets this wrong.
Hold
There's
on,
one
guys.
test
Hold on.
split into two
Very
samples.
quickly. I want to put this out here. Hold on. Our brother Listen says HLD is right.
No, he's not.
Guys, this is going to be something that we're going to have to just wait and see on. And once again, I urge everyone, guys, this is these brave, gallant fighters. This is their livelihood. Let's judge slowly, okay? Judge slowly and let due process play itself out.
This is what happened with Canelo, right?
Exactly. That's what I wanted
But
to
his
tell
hair,
you.
his hair sample was
exact
completely
same
clear.
thing.
Hold on. Let's get Burro the floor. Burro, what are your thoughts, sir?
I mean, to me, this is like the exact same thing that happened with Canelo. Is that for him it was beef, and in this case it was chicken. The other, in that case, it was clenbuterol. In this case, it's clomiphene. I mean, it's the exact same thing. They should literally just tell Connor Ben, take a hair follicle test, provide the receipts of where you got your eggs, and let's see if we exonerate you, because that's exactly what they did with Canelo.
That's a great idea. Burro, that's a great idea, brother.
The levels will tell you everything. When you take clomiphene after a cycle, as opposed as a PCT, yeah, if you do a full cycle clomiphene because you're trying to re-kick your testicles to produce testosterone because they shut down during your cycle, it's gonna stay. That clomiphene is gonna stay in your system probably 240, maybe 280 days in your body. Now, if you take one little pill of it, it's not going to stay in your body that long at all. So the same thing when it comes with these chicken claims. I mean, it's not going to stay there for. I mean, we're talking some minuscule amount. It's not even nowhere near the amount of a pill. No matter how many dozens of eggs you eat. I mean, it's not the same type of situation like that.
But it is, though, because once again, you're missing the fact that he was tested multiple times for the test levels. Do you know in Nevada and New York, you're allowed 5 times the amount of test levels in your test than the average? Did you know that? So a man can have well high testosterone levels, as long as they don't go over times 5 of what's the average, they're still allowed to compete in boxing. which is why a lot of the fights take place there and not elsewhere because they're more stringent. You see, like there's multiple levels to this. When they're testing it, they're not just finding clomiphene. They're testing the testosterone levels, and then one after consulting
When
a
you take
legal
short cycle
professional.
testosterone, which can just get out of your system, steroid out of your system overnight, you're not going to find that. See, there's different types of
But
steroids that you
this is
can
the
use.
point. You're talking about levels that you don't even know about.
I do know about.
Why? What was Connor's levels then?
Oh, you're talking about his specific. I'm telling you about what I'm saying. How
No, that's what I
different
mean.
levels
You're
of
saying about what other
steroids.
people have said from what they're doing when they're doing cycles. You don't know if that matches the levels. It was only an adverse finding. It was not a completely positive, well above the actual allowed amount.
Says who?
Like no one knows the number. Yeah, exactly. No one knows the numbers. So while everyone's
So it's
screaming that
so
he
we
was
don't know if
taking
it's
it
an adverse
after,
amount.
everyone's saying he's taking it as a precursor after, your levels would be all over the place with the testosterone from one test to another. And you know that. You know that because you're re-increasing. So if he's coming off a cycle and taking clomiphene, his test levels would show that. That's why they do these tests. The adverse finding was because that drug came up. That's it.
So what was his testosterone levels? Were they 800?
No, but his test levels fell into what was appropriate.
What I'm saying, the average man is about 800.
No, but listen, if he's testing for something that he's taking and it's still in his system, as you just said, it would be gone by the next day. If he's testing on it, that means that he's just come off the cycle while he's taking the clomiphene. Therefore, the levels would be all over the place. Understand what you're saying? He's replacing one with another. So all of the levels would be all over the place. All of the levels were completely fine. That's why Eubank wanted to go ahead, because the doctors told him there was no performance enhancement at all within Conor Benn. So he said, let's go ahead with it. Carl Sutherland said that in an interview. That's why they went ahead with it. It wasn't because they thought it was going to be dangerous.
So Sean,
Yeah.
do you think that BBBFC, right,
Yeah.
the British Border Control, do you think they're actually making this judgment for liability purposes
For sure.
exclusively?
100%. Chris Eubank Sr. came out 2 days before and asked for the fight to be boycotted. He turned around and said to the papers he'd lost the son already, didn't want to lose another. That's a lot
But
of
why the
pressure.
two different stories? Is one they first said it was because of contamination and the lab, blah blah blah. Now they're coming out with chicken egg stories.
No, they're not though,
Well,
are they?
no,
I've
look,
just
look,
I've
look,
just said that
I tell you what,
I've
guys.
just said that it's in eggs. They haven't said that it was in eggs or
I tell you
chicken.
what, guys. And once again, I love this discussion. I love the intelligence. I love the information. This is great for all of us. And once again, guys, please judge slowly, okay? Because this is a promising fighter. His livelihood is at stake here, okay? So let's judge slowly and wait for due process to play itself out, okay?
I'm judging the facts of what's being put out, and I'm not judging the man himself because I mean, yes, he is due his due process, and we don't know, but I'm just trying to connect the dots, and that's what I attack. What's been said, you know what I mean?
I tell you what, on that note, HLD, Puro, Sean, Frank, I'm going to do another shot. Guys, God bless all of you guys. And once again, thank you for being a part of this program. And we're getting ready to sign off. But I tell you what, all of you guys are awesome, man. Thank you for being a part of this program. And I'm going to take a shot. Sean, go ahead and down some of your protein shake. I'm down in some sweet amber, brother. Here you go.
I got a beer.
Salud to all of you guys. Puro, some tequila, brother. Come on, man.
Shit, I do have some tequila. Hold on, let me go get some.
Yes. Do it, my friend. But I tell you what though, guys. Let's just pray. Let's just pray, right? That Tank Davis does not fight Abner Mares next.
Oh no, I'll be all over. I'll be all over the prayer. I'll be telling everyone.
And let's also pray. Let's also pray that we get Loma Haney next year, even if it's on pay-per-view. I don't give a shit as long as it takes place.
I would pay for that fight, no problem.
I'll pay for it, no problem. Also, and you know what? I'll be calling the fight live on YouTube. Fine. Hey man, let's get it.
I don't have a problem with that. That would, I mean, you know, because it like I said, you see, the consumer buys what they want to buy. It's like not every movie that comes out do you end up going to the theaters to see. You know what I mean? So this is one
Exactly.
that we all can, those who are invested in with the Loma or the Haney and the conversations and whatnot would be wanting to watch.
Guys, can we just agree on one thing though? We
What's that?
don't want to see Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman. Come on. No, dude. I'd rather see Virgil Ortiz or Jerron Ennis.
Well, but neither one of those two are ever gonna.
No.
Oh,
for sure.
Chingao, dude. Come on. Look, we can dream, can't we? Like, as boxing fans, come on, guys. Look, the last thing we want to see is a fucking retread. Did I just drop the F-bomb? I'm sorry, guys. The last thing we want to see is a retread like Keith Thurman fight Errol Spence Jr.
But what is worse, Keith Thurman, Spence, who at least he could sell the fight, or is it going to be David Kardashian versus Crawford?
We're not talking about that, dude. That's a moot point, right? That's a moot point, HLD. But look, guys. When you say, can we sell a fight? To whom? Like, what are we talking about, dude? See, this is the biggest problem of this scenario, right? Because Thurman Spence is a much bigger mainstream commodity than Spence Ennis or Spence Ortiz. That's the biggest dilemma in this. And that's the only reason why Thurman was elevated to the mandatory position.
He could still put butts in the seats.
That sucks my ass.
Yeah, but
That's terrible. That's
never
terrible.
gonna fight him anyway. Earl said he's never gonna fight him, so
You know what?
Yeah, but if they mandate him next week, and these
Chingao, brother. Okay. So I'll tell you this. We're moving closer and closer because we're approaching Halloween, guys. We're moving closer and closer to 2023. Frank, what are your favorite fights that you want to see in the new year?
in the new year, it would be number one would be Tank Garcia. Number two would be Crawford and Spence, and three would be Canelo Benavidez or Zurdo Ramirez.
Hell
if he were to win.
yes. Hell yes. Dude, I'll second that. Sean, what are your Santa Claus requests, brother, for the new year?
I'd like to see Tank Ryan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Fury versus Usyk. And
yes,
I'm just going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'd love to see Canelo rematch Bivol again.
Holy shit, that is unpopular. Sean, thank you, brother. And Frank,
No
Sean, thank you guys for being a part of this program, man. You guys
Always.
are so awesome, man.
No, thank you, Joseph.
HLT. Okay. Even though we always seem to end this show on a black cloud, let's end it on a bright spot, right? On our wish list for 2023. HLD, what are the best matchups you want to see in 2023, sir?
First on the list would be somewhere around March and April. Would be T.O. versus Taylor.
Oh shit.
That's what I want to see. As far as secondary to that, definitely I want to see the Loma and Haney fight happen. I definitely want to see the unification in the heavyweight division with Tyson Fury and Usyk. And I would love to see one of my top prospects just take a nice big step, and that would be Xander Zayas versus some top guys at 154, and big baby, Jared Anderson really step it up to make the noise as the new heavyweight American champion.
Dude, I love it. I love the way you think, man, but don't expect it. Like, look, Brad and Bruce, I've spoken to them, both of them, and they're like, no, we're happy. We're happy until these guys retire. And then Jared Anderson is going to be the next big thing in heavyweight boxing in America.
Absolutely.
They're completely
I agree.
happy with that. So, Puro, what is your wish list, brother, for 2023, my friend?
I only have two. The fight I want, me personally, really want is Canelo versus Bivol rematch, and then 1B would be Tank and Ryan.
Yes, Smudgy.
Right on, brother. Right on. Yeah. But I tell you what, so here's my wish list for 2023 for whatever it means, right? Guys, maybe I'm like in the minority, but I don't care. I want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. I want to see that in the worst way. Two big sluggers, vulnerable, there to be hit. I want to see it. I want to see it, man. The heavyweight division determines everything with the health of boxing, right? I want to see that. And I also want to see Artem Beterbiev versus the winner of Ramirez versus Bivol on November 5th. I want to see that fight in the worst way to determine superiority at 175. I want to see it. And guys, here comes the black sheep, right? And guys, here's the biggest rumor. It's rumored that Golden Boy is going to be signing Gennady Golovkin very soon to set up Triple G versus Jaime Munguia in 2023. How do you like that, guys?
Love it. It's an action
That sounds
fight,
great, but I just heard that they're gonna mandate Munguia versus Janabek.
No, dude, Janabek doesn't have to accept that bullshit. And he's not going to.
He put it out on Twitter that he's ready for that fight.
Okay, how does the promoter feel though?
The same way they did when they pulled out of that other fight.
Wait a minute. How many mandatory assignments has Jaime Munguia been a part of?
I think 3.
He's failed to put his homework in every time, Joseph.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Look, Golden Boy knows better. Look. The time is now to put together Triple G versus Jaime Munguia. That is a can't miss fight. And when you're thinking about it commercially, that is a sellout everywhere. That is a sellout everywhere. Now, if you go and look at individual divisions, right? Guys, why not? Why not Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz for a vacant title at 147?
Please.
Why not? Why not? And guys, I'm going to say this also, okay? Why not?
Yeah.
Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney at 140 for a vacant title.
Can you imagine the build up for that?
I'll take it. They can skip the Loma
not, guys?
right now.
Okay, and here we go. And here we go. The ultimate, right? Shakur Stevenson versus Vasil Lomachenko next year for a vacant world title. Why not?
Wow, they won't touch each other. For 12 rounds.
We need answers in boxing. That's what we need. And in 2023, a lot of these matches.
Dude, I'm still laughing at Sean's expression, man.
Is I want to see some of these fan bases humbled. You know, they know who they are. Some of these guys need to be humbled. So,
okay,
you know,
guys,
I want some new storylines next year.
And there it is. So you know, Frank has the beat. So let's talk about this, guys, very quickly before we actually sign off. Guys, and we're going to go clockwise, right? How do you actually see Tim Tszyu versus Jermell Charlo playing out next year in January 27th, to be exact? Frank, how do you see that fight playing out?
I know nobody gives Tim Tszyu a shot, but I think he has some underrated abilities. He goes, he's a straight puncher. Yes, he comes forward, but he moves levels. So he shoots to the head, shoots to the body. He's going to give Charlo different looks. And, you know, we can't act like Charlo hasn't been in tough fights. I know people think Castano, I thought Castano beat him the first time. And, you know, I don't know what Castano was doing. He fought a completely different fight. He was tentative. I guess he had the injury, but you can't tell me that. This is my point. You can't tell me that Castano is extremely levels above.
Okay, hold on, Frank. On behalf of HLD, myself, and Puro, please use the Enye. Okay, Castaño.
Okay,
thank
my
you.
Bad.
Go ahead, as you were, brother.
You can't tell me that.
Thank you.
Castaño. I think they're very similar level wise. I don't think Tim Tszyu is that much worse than Brad Castaño.
Thank you, sir. Look. I'll say this. That's a fucking great fight. The
Yep.
style matchup is amazing. Like, look, the chin of Tim Tszyu, the power of Tim Tszyu. I love this fight. I do favor Jamel because of his experience, but God, I love this fight. And the fact that it's going to be on regular Showtime Championship Boxing is just so amazing. Guys, so anyone who's shitting on boxing right now, look at the calendar up ahead.
Wow.
Guys, we've got that fight to look
I
forward
can't
to.
wait. I can't wait for Inoue Butler, to be honest.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it, brother. Come on,
Yeah.
Sean.
I think it's about time that Inoue gets a bit more credit for how great he is. You
Pound for
know,
pound.
unfortunately, you know what happened with our good friend Anito, being so early in the morning out there in Japan, it gets lost with all of the the YouTube boxing channels, and people just really for some reason don't give the little guys any credit. But Inoue's doing his business, and he's going to keep moving through. And once he gets the undisputed, it's going to be great.
Okay. So I know I keep saying that I'm trying to wind down this show, but look. I keep on getting this great stuff right from the chat. Cool Money says, "Who does Rolly fight next?" Guys, I'm sorry, but I absolutely love, and we're going to pick this up on HLD. Rolly versus Isaac Cruz.
Wow.
Who wins and why?
I got Pitbull Cruz winning that fight by way of knockout. I just like the tenacity of this young man. I've been following him for 2 years now, since I've been trying to get Devin Haney to fight Pitbull Cruz instead of Maxie Hughes that they were trying to set up.
Only Eddie Hearn wants that fight, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, well, Bill Haney wanted that badly. They were trying to pump it
Chingal.
up, and so that's why me and Bill Haney got into it a lot. But I think it would be a fun fight. As far in the ring, as far as the build up, it's Pitbull is mild mannered. He's respectful type of guy. So I don't think we're gonna get fireworks outside, but inside the ring, I think it's gonna be an action packed fight. But it'll end with a knockout with a Pitbull Cruz stopping Rolly.
No
I
shit.
agree.
Wow, Burro, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first, I'm gonna say that Jermel's gonna beat 6 Shades of Shit into Tim Tszyu. I don't know how long.
Agree. I didn't get my take.
But he's gonna beat the shit out of him. And
go as you were, brother. I'm sorry.
No worries. And when it comes to Rolly, I actually thought that Rolly fought a very disciplined fight with Tank. It was just, the levels between Tank and Rolly were just vast. So, I mean, he really had no shot in that fight. But, I mean, it's the first time I actually seen him where he's like, okay, all right. He's fighting more patient. He looks like he's doing something different, and I think that's why that fight lasted longer. Plus, Tank was kind of playing with him. But anyways, Pitbull Cruz, what impressed me in the Tank fight, and I've been following Pitbull for a cool minute, was his defense. I mean, Tank could not penetrate his defense. That's the reason he hurt his hand. Yep. And yeah, man, I got Pitbull destroying Raleigh, man. Just
wow.
Not no one shot knockout because he doesn't have that type of power, Pitbull. But just like just outgunning him and outpowering him.
Wow, I tell you what, guys, it's been an awesome show. Thanks to you guys. God bless all of you guys. I tell you what, Burro, HLD, Sean, Big Frank, thank you so much for letting us share the air with you guys. Right?
No problem, man. No problem.
And I tell you what, I love the wish list, and I hope our calendar year of 2023 is just as good, right? And so, on that note, guys, if you missed any part of this program, it's going to be on demand, right? As soon as we sign off. But guys, on behalf of Burro, HLD, Sean, and Frank. I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Take care.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.